Howdy doody, everybody. I'm here with my good friend Oliver. You can
Hello,
find him
everyone.
on Instagram at Super Ollie World, and we are going to be reviewing the Superman Legacy movie that just came out. We're going to get into the good, the bad, the ugly. Um, I think we're both kind of on the same page that it's more good than bad and ugly, but it definitely has some moments. But yeah, Oliver, can you go ahead and introduce yourself? Say hi.
Hello, everybody out there in Pixel Hell. I'm Oliver, also go by Ollie, Super Ollie World. I do doodles and paintings and, just a lot of art stuff. And I'm a super huge Superman fan, much like Chump here. We've been friends for a very long time. We've watched the
Since fifth
Justice
grade?
League show numerous times. We've read a bunch of comics and watched the animated movies, and now here we are. It's 2025, and is it Superman Legacy still, or is it just Superman? I think they just kind of
I
that's a
think it's still.
popular thing to do now is change the you know the title of your movie or show or whatever it is until it's like, all right, well, it's just Superman, I guess. So
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
it? Is it
I think it's
Superman?
generically Superman, but yeah, I think it's still technically Superman Legacy.
Okay.
Um, but yeah, I saw it. Um, I saw it just a few days ago. I know you just saw it again the second time today, correct?
Actually, no, that didn't happen.
Oh
We
no!
yeah. No, I really wanted to watch it again to kind of prepare myself for this, to kind of refresh myself. But Katie, my wife, and I decided to stay home and be old people, and that's what happens when you get to be a certain age.
Respect, respect.
Yeah, man, got to do it. Middle age.
Yeah, so let's kind of go over what are your just kind of overall thoughts of the movie. Love it,
Now,
hate it.
I actually really enjoyed the movie. Of course, I love Superman. He's like my favorite comic book hero. I've been watching the I watched the old cartoons when I was very little, and of course saw the Christopher Reeve Superman, and just from that time to today, it's just been all Superman, Superman, Superman. So how do I feel in the grand scope of all the movies and TV shows? This is actually a really good film. Um, I'd say it's a very good comic booky type film in that it really
Mm,
embraces a lot of the comic book conventions that a lot of really, big comic book fans will really enjoy. So if you really enjoy that Silver Age kind of comic quality, some of the late Bronze Age stuff, I mean, you really will like a lot of stuff in this movie. Overall, I felt like it did a good job of being respectful of the source material, but also adding a lot of the modern day things that we have now.
yeah.
Um, but overall, I would say that I liked it a lot. What were your thoughts on it?
I'm kind of on the same page there. I had a lot of fun with the movie. I did enjoy a lot of the things about it. I don't think it was perfect, um, and I'm hoping it'll do what it needs to do to carry the DC universe forward. Um, the way that James Gunn wants to do it. Um, there's a lot of things I really liked. Superman being Superman was the biggest thing. He wasn't mopey. He wasn't whiny. Um, so that was some of the things I really liked about it. And he saved people. Like that was cool. He did that a pretty good bit throughout
Yeah.
the movie. I thought that was nice. Um, the overall tone of the movie being much brighter, much I don't know, a lot more levity than they had in the Snyderverse Superman. I
Mhm.
think was a welcome change. Um,
Mhm.
Part of me does still kind of wish we still had Cavill as Superman. I thought they did him dirty, but that's not a knock on David Corn Sweat,
One's what I
Sweaty
think. Yeah.
Sweaty Corn. Yeah,
Sweaty
not a
Corn.
knock on him at all because he was great. Like he really did
Yeah.
good. Cast overall, I thought was really well done.
Yeah, it's very good.
Yeah, yeah, I had no issues with the cast. The I will say like one thing I it kind of dawned on me later is like I don't remember much of the music. Like that was one thing that
Well,
I was like I don't know. Like I know they kind of took the theme from John Williams Superman theme from the Christopher Reeves movies and did a play on that, but I just don't remember it standing out that much. But there was a lot of bright
it was
colors and a lot of
derivative.
motion. So
I that's part of the problem is it's incredibly derivative in that it borrowed from that John Williams theme that's really iconic, you know. And
yeah, mm-hmm.
I think that's really good, you know. There's
Mm-hmm.
nothing wrong with that, but it does kind of get lost in the well. How do we? I think it was more of a simplification of it almost, and so we kind
Yeah,
of
kind
we
of.
lose
Mm-hmm.
all of those notes that really make it stand out as a theme. And it's that theme is more of a march, and it's easy for you to go
Mm-hmm.
because it
Yeah,
just
yeah.
that earworm gets in there, and it's just like just kind of hangs out in there.
I've had
Um,
that song stuck in my head for the
but
better part of a week after seeing the movie.
but
But yeah,
I think that I think that the themes were real. Well, the music was okay, I guess. Visually, it
yeah,
looks fantastic.
yeah.
I
There's a lot of
mean,
visual
you
wins in it
can't.
for sure.
I can scarcely say you could find a better looking superhero movie than Superman. Now we haven't seen Fantastic Four, and that looks great. Giant Galactus. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm on board.
It's nice that
But
giant that Galactus is just a giant purple dude. He's not like some weird bit of galactic
not like
smog
a
or whatever
giant
the hell he was.
space dog or what's Hidora from Godzilla, just a smog just kind of rolling in. Like that's the
Yeah,
they actually
yeah,
have like a purple dude, which is
yeah.
great. But the kaiju scene in the Superman film, I thought it was really well done. It looked really great.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I too felt like hey, this is very reminiscent, especially when he's fighting. Um, I don't want to spoil anything, but we'll say one of
Let's
the bad guys.
I'd say let's go ahead and address
The
that real quick. We
yeah,
will be getting into spoilers. So if you
mhm.
haven't seen the movie yet and don't want it to be spoiled, um,
Get out
here's
of
your
here.
here's your off ramp. But yeah,
Get out of here. Here's your exit. Get out of here.
I feel like
Um,
we're gonna jump into some spoilery stuff fairly quickly. But I mean,
yes,
I'm gonna assume that most people have seen the trailer and you see the kaiju in the trailer, so I don't think that's really much
that's
of a
not really
spoiler.
spoiling anything.
Yeah,
Not anything super big
it's like
anyway.
we know crypto's in it from the trailer, so
Mhm.
it's like yeah, you're not gonna spoil anything. It's like hey, there's a white puppy, but yeah,
Superman's in the Superman movie.
there's a
Um,
bald guy. It might be Lex.
to your point about Henry Cavill, I know a lot of people really loved Henry Cavill, myself included, because I
Yeah,
mean Henry Cavill definitely looked the part. I
yeah,
mean, we brought these out a moment ago. Um, the way that they kind of modeled Henry Cavill's Superman is like, all right, look, dude, we need you to look like somebody. Like we got the new 52 comics out. They were out at the time of the release of that movie, and they were like, all right, we want this. And then Henry Cavill, I mean, trained like a madman to look like,
yeah,
super
yeah,
huge and, just have the look. And it's just a real shame that we never got to a point where there was that Superman that's really lighthearted, and I never got the sense that he was like on the same league as like Christopher Reeve as for our Superman. Superman should be a character where when Superman it comes in from wherever, it's like, okay, everything's going to be okay. Superman's here.
yeah, yeah,
And I really feel like Zack Snyder went the route of, well, here is a godlike being who could literally destroy all of us, but is choosing to save us. And
yeah,
I mean, I appreciate, the realism of it, the grittiness of it, but also I kind of don't, because that doesn't really fit with suit. It works really well for Batman.
Yeah, yeah,
But I really don't feel like that worked out for Superman quite as well. David Cornsweat is Superman, Sweaty Corn, we can
sweaty
call him
corn.
because I like that. I like that name when you used it just now. I thought
Sorry,
that he
David.
did embody that really hopeful, Christopher Reeve type of Superman.
Yeah,
Um, and it made me really excited to see him in more projects as Superman because it's like, man, this feels great. Like this guy's
yeah,
really hopeful, and he feels like, it feels like, wow, we can kind of relax because Superman's here. But
yeah,
also, in this world, it's populated by a lot of other heroes.
yeah.
The Justice
And
Gang,
they
and
established
I
that
felt
pretty
like,
quick. Yeah,
yeah, I like that too is a part of it because then you get to see Superman. Like, what is he doing when he's not being Superman? Isn't he saving the day all the time? Well, I mean, he could. He's Superman, but he can kind of relax because he's got other heroes kind of stepping in to fight some giant monster in the background while he's having a very important conversation with
yeah,
Lois Lane. You
yeah, yeah,
know?
yeah. And I agree with that. Like I said, I think sweaty corn is a very good pick.
I'm
Now, one
sorry,
thing,
David.
kind of yeah, kind of a weird side note that I noticed. The way superhero movies tend to go, they always
Mhm.
have the shirtless scene. You never had that in this movie. I was
Yeah.
like, and the suit that he wore was not like a fake muscle suit, which yeah, even Cavill's was to a degree, but I mean, dude didn't need it really. So I mean, it
I
was
mean, yeah, it's just like, yeah,
yeah,
well, this extra padding is just, for whatever,
yeah,
you know.
yeah.
Yeah.
But overall, the suit. How did you like the suit?
Um, you know, I like that it was kind of I'm sorry, I'm watching my brother do something. He's working remotely on my computer and I'm basically watching the Matrix happen in front of me and I'm just like, I'm becoming more human. What's happening? Um, I
Red pill or blue?
I red and blue. It's Superman. But
Hey,
the haha, I did it. See there, we did it. We got there.
we done
Um,
did it.
the suit overall, I felt like was very reminiscent of George Reeve as Superman. Really basic. Not a whole lot going on. Has the trunks. It's very, it's not got a lot going on, and that's where I would say Henry Cavill's Superman really shone. Was like that suit looked fucking cool. It looked like
Yeah,
alien gear almost.
yeah,
And then with Christopher Reeve, it's really bright and just really just like wow, pop. But this one,
yeah,
I felt like it was a little more basic and not quite as fleshed out as some of the other suits. Now, it is
yeah.
Superman, and we don't need to get a whole lot, but
No,
I think that my favorite suit in terms of the super suit was like the new 52 super suit. It looked like it kind of had like this armor kind of look, and it
yeah.
really didn't need that because Superman is invincible and like
He has armor.
because he has this. Invincibility around him that just kind of like this almost like a very thin force field. It kind of protects the suit from a lot of the damage that he receives. There's no need for the armor, but I did like the armor of it because it's like that just looks cool to me. I like a good armor. So this
Yeah,
one's just kind of basic but not bad, not bad for being a basic Superman where you're just like, well, let's just focus on the humanity of the character rather than
yeah,
like the godlike and all the other craziness. Maybe that can come later at some point. But overall, it was okay.
yeah, yeah.
What do you
I
think
thought it was
about
fine. Like it kind of looked like it in some scenes. Like it didn't fit quite
it?
the
Mm-hmm.
way it should have. Like it seemed kind of loose, which I'm glad they didn't just throw him in like a skin tight leotard or something, unitard, whatever the tards are called.
Or something.
Yeah. So I was like, I'm glad it felt. It wasn't just like a skin suit or muscle suit. I'm not crazy about the S that they use for that. I forget which Superman comic run it's from. But yeah, I kind of like the traditional Superman S. the fact that they brought the trunks back, like I don't know, that kind of endears me to it a little bit. And that's
Mhm.
like a weirdly debated thing, to trunk or not to trunk for Superman. To trunk or not to trunk, whether it is nobler in the groin. But yeah, like I don't know,
I mean,
like
we like the trunks, right? I think
I
the trunks are fun. I like the
yeah,
trunks.
I dig it. It's just kind of what's always there. Now, Cavill not having the trunks and the Snyderverse, I didn't really care that much. Like I don't know. I'm not staring at his crotch the whole time, so it's like it didn't really bother me either way. But it's cool to see respect paid to the original creation of Superman, the original costume.
Hmm. Hmm.
I kind of like it that actually having the emblem on the cape. Like I think that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
Having
absolutely.
that there as well. Like I said, the
I
only issue I had is it kind of seemed like it was like a little loose on him sometimes, a little bit. But
I think that's
again, it's
fine.
not a big deal. Yeah,
Yeah, I think that's fine. In some iterations of it, Martha Kent makes it. You
hmm
know, she
yeah,
just makes it out of material she found in his spaceship, and it's like, hey, great. So I think that's fine that it was like that.
yeah.
About the S though, I think it's supposed to be like an homage to like the Kingdom Come Superman.
Yes, that's it. That's it. Yeah, it's the Kingdom
Yeah,
Come.
and
It
and I
escaped my
think
brain.
that if you've ever read that in the comics, it's really it gets really dark, and it's a really tough read because it's a Superman. This is in the far future where basically all the heroes have kind of stopped doing what they do, and so this whole new generation of heroes comes in, and they're a lot more violent. They don't mind about killing their criminals and all that, and so Superman, has kind of stepped away from being Superman. He's just gone back to being just a regular dude. And then he
Yeah,
kind of gets called back into action because all this crazy stuff is going on in the world. And if they follow that, I would say that if that's the game plan, like towards the end of all of the storytelling, I imagine they probably have stories that are planned out for the next 10 years. And if that's kind of what we're leading into, maybe either a crisis event that either reboots the thing because they're like, well, let's start jumping into other worlds like Marvel and make that mistake, or if they decide to go the route of doing more of like a Kingdom Come type thing. I think
yeah,
that the Kingdom Come, it should be done in about 2 to 3 movies, and I think you could tell an excellent story
yeah.
with this very Superman doing that. I think that would be excellent.
And now one thing for me is like I hope that James Gunn picks a lane and stays in it. Kind of,
Hmm.
because that was one of the big issues I had with the Snyder movies. Is you had Superman just starting out, but still oldish. You had Batman about ready to retire age wise. You had
Hmm.
prepubescent Jesse Eisenberg Lex Luthor. That was one of the worst casting choices I've ever seen. So
It's really
like,
frenetic and weird. He's just like,
yeah, yeah, he
somebody
was,
stop giving that kid energy drinks. He's having a
yeah,
freak out right now.
it was weird,
Yeah.
and I don't know, it was like the Riddler gone Lex. I don't know what it was. It was bizarre. Um, and he had like half the haircut from Harry and Dumb and Dumber. I don't know. It was weird. Um, but like they were, like I said, it was all over the place timeline wise. Like they were trying to do like the death of Superman story plus Batman versus Superman plus Dark Knight Returns, like all jammed into one thing, and I was just like, it,
Whatever happened to the Man of Tomorrow?
yeah.
Yeah, you
So
say
like,
Frank Miller's run on Batman, like they had a lot of that going on. Like they tried to overstuff it with too many things, and if they had just
yeah,
stuck to one of this thing, that especially with Batman, like if they had just done a standalone, you know, Dark Knight movie, The Dark Knight Returns, I think that would have been really cool. And
yeah.
with Snyder doing that, I think that could have been cool. But instead, he's like, I need to bust my nut now, so I'm just going to go ahead and just do it now. Here we go. And it just feels like I don't know, it just feels like something that doesn't quite fit in together. And again, with that Superman, with Henry Cavill's Superman, it's there's the Christ-like imagery which works for that, but
Hmm.
it's not a very hopeful. It's not a very happy Superman. He's a little too
No.
thoughtful and in his own feelings and very quiet. And I don't know that's where David Sweaty Corn really shines. Is that you really get a sense of this person's kindness and humanity, and him really feeling like he does want to do good. Um, in the world because that's how he was raised. You know,
Yeah.
his adoptive parents, raised him to be a good person, and that's all he wants to do. And that's really what I get the sense of with this Superman.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Speaking of the awful Lex Luthor casting, that was one of the things I really appreciated about the Superman Legacy movie. I think the
Nicholas Holt,
cast, for the most part,
very good,
was great.
on point.
The David Sweaty Corn nailed it.
Mm-hmm.
Lois Lane nailed it. What's her face?
Rachel Brosnahan, yeah,
Yeah,
she did very
thank
good.
you.
Mm-hmm.
And again, comparing her to Amy Adams from Snyder, I think Amy Adams is a fantastic actress. I thought she was a terrible Lois Lane, to be honest. Like
She
she was just too mousy. Like even when she had her big line, it's like, so we could just stop measuring dicks. And it's like, oh, I said dicks. I got him. I don't know.
that was
Like,
as far as she could go, man. Let it
yeah,
go, man. That was as far as she could go.
yeah. So
No,
I was
I
like,
thought Rachel Brosnahan did an excellent job, like you
yeah,
say.
I
She
thought she
did
was
that
great.
part. She felt like a tough girl, and that's where Amy
Yes.
Adams never succeeded. Is she never came off as like,
No.
this military brat that was just like really hard hitting and not afraid to, fight back or stand up to Superman. Even
Yeah.
Amy Adams was more in awe of him once she realized, like, oh my God, you're Superman.
She kind of felt more like good cop and like a good cop bad cop scenario. And Lois Lane
Mhm.
is kind of more bad cop than than good
She's
cop.
definitely more bad cop. Yeah, one hundred
Um,
percent.
so yeah, so like Amy Adams kind of missed the mark for me. So yeah, so Lois Lane I thought was great.
Mm-hmm.
I thought the casting for Jimmy Olsen was really good, and
Mm-hmm.
I was trying to figure out where I recognized him from, and it goes the TV show Psych, like back in like the first two, like 3 or 4 episodes where they showed
Mm-hmm.
like they showed the main character Sean as a kid. Like every episode started off with him as a kid,
Yeah.
and the first 4 episodes, every episode was a different kid. Like they did nail it. And one of those kids, I was like, holy crap, that's little Sean in one episode before he got replaced with somebody else. Oh yeah, totally random aside, but yeah, I thought
So in that movie, so in that show's universe, Sean is basically Doctor Who, and so they kept killing these kids until they finally got another show that they could live with.
oh no, he's the Psych Lord. And he rides around in his tarded.
What's that?
Well,
It
they
was
did
like a
have a little
blueberry.
blue car. Yeah, they called it the
He did have
Blueberry.
a
Yeah.
little blue car. Is okay.
Some
So
weird
wait,
parallels
hold on a
here.
second. Is Psych and Doctor Who the same show or part of the same universe? I don't know, man.
Sean is
I
Doctor
think
Who in another universe.
Sean is maybe a Time Lord. That's what we're putting out there in the universe now. Sean is maybe a Time Lord.
That's how he really notices all the little details in the show Psych. He just goes to a point in time, looks at everything, and then goes back into time and pretends like he just seen it for the first time. I don't know. We've cracked it. Cracked the code.
We did
All
it.
right.
We did it.
Anyways.
I'm going to have to go back and watch it now and be like, all right, there's a lot of parallels between this show and Doctor Who now.
Anyways, Superman. Uh,
Anyways, sorry. Tangent,
sorry.
wild tangent.
I started it. My bad. That will
Mhm.
happen a lot. I guarantee you. My brain does not work. It'll happen a lot.
Sorry, guys. All right. Well, we like
Um,
to do that. Part of our thing.
but yeah, the casting. I think the actor that played Perry White. I mean, he wasn't in it much. He didn't have much impact in the movie, but I thought he was good.
Mhm.
Nathan Fillion as
I
Guy.
was waiting for the line though. Great Caesar's ghost. I'd never heard it, but I was looking for it. I wanted it so hard. Maybe next time.
I'm not familiar with that line. Is that
That's
like
something
a
he
catch?
says pretty regular because he's like this really bombastic kind of editor, and he's
Yeah.
yeah, he's almost like a hard boiled cop type, and
Oh
that's
yeah.
like his line. Great Caesar's ghost.
That's funny.
Mhm.
Um, but yeah, I thought Perry was good. The Justice Gang.
Mhm.
Uh, Nathan Fillion did a great job as Guy Gardner.
Excellent.
I thought, I mean, the hair looks goofy, but it's accurate.
I mean, it's
Uh,
comics accurate, which we
yeah,
love. That's what we're
and
looking for.
I respect that. I mean, he had to know he looked silly with that hair, but he still threw himself into the role.
Mhm.
I thought his costume was weird because it's like I don't know. It's
It's
like
really
the Green
basic
Lantern
for
thing.
green.
It's like the ring kind of makes the costume in a lot of times. So it's like it having a jacket. Like I feel like he should have been more of a skin suit type situation.
Mhm.
So the jacket for me was a little weird. That was a little strange. Uh, Mr. Terrific, I think, kind of stole the show. The actor, the character,
100%.
yeah, he was awesome.
Yeah, he rolled.
And that brings me to one of the uglies of the movie was Hot Girl. Hot Girl felt like an
Uh,
afterthought the entire the entire movie. And I say that because Hot Girl is like probably up there like my favorite female superhero. Like she's just one of my favorites. Just running in with
mhm,
the mace, smashing shit. Like she's great. Costume looks great. The wings are cool.
mhm.
But in this one, like I said, she barely had any lines. The actress that got to play Hot Girl, she was a little bitty. Like
Yeah, she's a little thing. Mhm.
not imposing at all. And
Which I
I
think is
don't
okay
have
because Hot Girl isn't like what you think. She's not like Wonder Woman. She's much
no,
smaller than
she's
Wonder
not
Woman.
massive by any stretch of the imagination. But that girl was like what 5 foot something.
Maybe,
Like she, I mean, she
but she
looked
has the
little
name.
and yeah, she was little and she looked like a teenager. Like I don't know. And I don't have super deep knowledge comic book wise of Hot Girl.
Mhm.
And I know there's two different Hot Girls. There's Shayera Hall, the original, an alien from another planet that has natural wings, and then there's like a human version. That's I think that's definitely what you got in this one, but I don't even recall them like calling her by name in the movie, which
I don't know.
kind of
I don't think that they ever did. She
yeah,
just hopped girl,
they just kind of assume you know who she is,
hop to a
which is
girl.
fine. Oh god, somebody make that cartoon.
Somebody
Um,
make that meme now, please. Thank you. Let that girl enjoy another 15 minutes of fame.
no, don't let her.
No, no,
Don't do
never
it.
mind. Don't do it.
Pull
Please,
the
for the
plug.
love of God, don't.
Abort.
She's had enough. She's
Yes,
already stolen a lot of people's money with her meme coin. Don't
we
do it.
had enough of whack to a coin or whatever.
Whack, whack,
Whack. I sound like a penguin. Jesus Christ.
whack.
Whack. Anyways,
Penguin. Another
but
good
yeah,
quote.
like, and again, going back to me not having much comic book knowledge of
Mhm,
Hawk Girl,
mhm.
her running in and screaming like a hawk was very weird. Like, it's like, what? It doesn't seem to be doing anything. Like, is it supposed to be like canary with the canary cry? Like, what? It just seems like you're being lightly irritating and weird. But yeah, that was awkward for me. They gave Mister
I think
Terrific
just gotta
a
just smash more stuff though, because that's hot girl to me. She's this really fiery tempered kind of person, and like she might be small,
yeah,
but man, when you watch the Justice League show, like she's
mm-hmm.
formidable. Like she never
Oh
comes
yeah,
across as being like weak or anything. It's like you're about to go toe to toe with somebody that's about to smash you with a mace. Get out of the way.
yeah, yeah. And like that's what I always liked about Hawk Girl. She's either 100% fighting with everything she has, or she's unconscious. There's like no in between with Hawk Girl. And that's why I've always liked her. She just does her war cry, just smashes shit with a mace.
Mhm.
That's gonna get clipped. Me going really loud into the microphone. That's gonna happen. That's the thing that's gonna happen. But anyways, that's what it's like. That's what I love about her is, and then but like never once in the Justice League show did she make actual bird noises while she was fighting people. So it's like I don't know. I feel like it was a little
Well, I think the
little
cry
too
of
hard.
every time she struck her mace, I think that was supposed to be it, but it wasn't expressed. It wasn't like exactly a superhero ability like the
No,
Black
no.
Canary, Canary cry.
Yeah, I mean
And
to me it was like the equivalent of a martial artist saying "hiya" before they kick somebody. That was just
yeah,
her
of course.
noise that she made when she swung her mace. But like I said, it didn't remotely sound like a bird or a hawk or falcon or anything. But in this one, I was
Hmm.
like, they straight up clipped the bird noise from National Geographic and pasted it into her mouth. I'm pretty sure that's how special effects work. You paste things into people's mouths.
Yeah. All right.
That's
Well, here's my challenge now. We're not doing "Hawk to a Girl" anymore. We're doing turkey noises for Hot Girl during all of her scenes where she's yelling. I need
I'm
a
for it.
turkey gobbler. Yeah.
I'm into it. Gobble gobble.
Definitely do that too. Somebody can find Thanksgiving some good things to throw in there. That would be excellent.
You just got stuffed. But
Yeah.
no, she had like one little cool moment where she was like flying through a hallway and bashing people, but it was over very
Mhm.
quickly.
Yeah. It's
Mr.
too bad.
Terrific definitely had the probably the coolest scene
Yeah,
of him
and
just
it was what the lead up to it's really great because it's him and just to give you all of you context, it's him and Lois Lane walking to through a beach trying to get to a device that creates like a pocket universe. It's like a doorway to a pocket universe that leads to exactly to where Superman and Lex Luthor are.
mm-hmm.
As Superman has been taken hostage. And what's really cool is like Mr. Terrific and Lois Lane are walking around this beach, and then like all of the Lex Luthor henchmen are like, "Oh, it's one of the Justice Gang. Wait, it's the brainy guy. We can kick this guy's ass."
Yeah, yeah.
And
And
what
I mean
takes
it
place is him just like, "All right, guys, you're about to get effed up." And man,
absolute
it's so
pandemonium.
perfect. It's wonderful.
Like it wasn't to the intensity of definitely not the violence, but it kind of reminded me of the scene in the famous church scene in the Kingsman or no. Yeah,
Yeah,
Kingsman. Yeah, Kingsman.
absolutely.
Where
Uh-huh.
it was like all just one continuous camera shot, just panning around, just chaos, just all around, and all caused by one dude. Just it was great. Like it gave Mister Terrific, some time to shine. I thought was really cool.
Because he's a great
Such
character.
a
Just
fun scene.
anyway, I'm glad that they finally justified. Here's my thing. I don't know how you felt about the Justice Gang. It sounds to me more like you wanted less of it. I kind of
Um,
wish there was a little bit more of it, like a lot more of the heroes we don't get to see that much of, and really give them a chance
yes,
to like Shining Knight would have been super cool, but like in
yeah.
another movie, like maybe like Justice League Dark or something with
Oh,
like
I'm hoping they get to Justice League Dark. Like I want some
yeah.
extra gun. Damn it.
I wanted, yeah, I would love to see After Again the Demon. I would love to see John Constantine. I think the movie I'm probably most looking forward to that's kind of in that same realm would be Swamp Thing, which is
Oh
supposed to
yeah,
be like a short horror film, which I absolutely adore. I can't wait for that to be released.
yeah,
But in this movie, I felt like I would have been okay with them having more of the superheroes, like the ones you don't really get to see that much of, so that later, when they do get introduced, you can be like, oh, hey, I kind of know a little bit about this guy. We get to explore a little bit of that backstory and then
yeah,
help you gain a little more appreciation for them overall. But
yeah.
yeah, they definitely did that for Mr. Terrific in this movie, and he is. And I'm going to say it, guys. So if you don't want to hear it, cover your ears. But he was terrific.
Yes. Badoom. Yeah. No, he was
Not
great.
sorry. Not sorry.
Like I said, I think he was probably one of the standouts.
Mhm.
Probably one of my favorites in there. Uh, God, and there really. I mean, there was a lot of them. There was a lot of really good. Um, like I said, David Sweaty Corn Brosnahan
Mhm.
as Lois Lane was great.
Mhm.
We
Mhm.
haven't even mentioned him yet, but Nicholas Holt as Lex
Lex Luthor, yeah, awesome job.
was fantastic. I say
Yeah.
he did a great job.
Right
he
up
was.
with Michael Rosenbaum, who I would say is probably my favorite Lex Luthor.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Nicholas Holt was just like he owned that role, and I was like,
he
man, that
did.
is
Yeah,
Lex Luthor, one hundred
he had
percent.
the commanding presence. And I was expecting him to be a little bit more stoic and a little bit more commanding, but I don't know. I kind of like it that he was a little off kilter. Like he was a
Hmm.
little crazy. Not just so stoic that you're surprised when he does something wild. You know. So
Hmm.
I thought that struck a great balance for Lex.
Hmm.
Of yes, he's very serious. Yes, he's very intelligent. Yes, he's very wealthy, and
Hmm.
he's very driven. But he's
Hmm.
also a wild card too. Not everything is just complete logic. You know, it's he is a little bit bombastic. So I mean, I thought that was a really cool way to play Lex.
Hmm.
And Michael Rosenbaum, God, he had one of my favorite Lex Luthor lines where it was a time crunch thing. Like Lex Luthor had made a mistake and one of his experiments was about to explode or something, and they needed to find a scientist to shut it down. And he sent his henchmen out to go find it. And one guy, he's like, "Have you found this professor yet?" And the guy's like, "We haven't found him yet." He's like, "Well, hurry up." He's like, "I'm doing my best, sir." And he goes, "Well, do the best of someone better." It's like, damn, that's kind of mean, Lex. Even for you, do the
Roasted,
best of someone better. I was like,
get
that's
roasted.
yeah. But I don't know. That's what I love about Lex. And then, like I said, and then Jesse Eisenberg just twitchy and shoving Jolly Ranchers into people's mouths. That was
It
freaking
is,
bizarre. It was
yeah,
bizarre.
he was. There's something to. I think how they wanted to play it up is him being like one of the modern day douchebags you see. Like a crypto billionaire or something.
Terrible idea.
Some young tech
Terrible idea.
billionaire. Like he was basically Mark Zuckerberg. You know,
I don't
you know
know.
what I mean? And
It
and
was
it didn't fit really well.
strange.
Nicholas Holt, I felt like really owned the role in Lex Luthor is a very capable person.
Yeah.
He's driven by his ambition, but it's only through his arrogance that he typically loses a fight with Superman, which I
Yeah.
think they did a
Yeah.
very good job of, showing just how his ambitions ultimately crumble under his extreme arrogance. Um, One thing that I really liked that I don't think that we've quite seen yet is they show a lot of people helping Lex Luthor fight Superman.
Mm-hmm.
With the hammer of I can't think
Barovia.
of the guy's name. Barovia, that's it.
That
They
was a
have a
really cool
team of
looking suit.
people that, yeah, I mean, that
Sorry.
was really cool. But that, no, you're good. But, they have a team of people helping with the fight against Superman. And really, I mean, I feel like that's kind of what it would take to ultimately fight Superman. Like they've kind of worked out a system that works best, you know. And I don't know, I kind of like that because it's Lex, he takes the lead, of course, right? Calling out the commands, but then you've got a whole other team of people that kind of, are monitoring things. And I don't know, it felt to me like he was more of almost like a James Bond villain, having his henchmen do some work, and then he just
Yeah.
kind of leads the pack. So I don't know, I kind of like
If I
that
would
because
have
it means to me that at some point somebody's going to have to be the leader of the Legion of Doom. And somebody, to me, looks like they might be the one to do it.
yeah. Yeah.
Kind of what I thought.
Oh god, now that you kind of mentioned the Legion of Doom, their fortress that they have.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why like towards the end of the movie when shit hit the fan, uh he's got like his little command center like that's between his two towers
Mm-hmm.
and everything's about to fall down. He just pulls a lever and the thing turns into like a hovering jet propelled
Little airship. Yeah.
base. I was like, oh man, that could be like a predecessor. Just that small command center could be the predecessor to like their little fortress that nestled in the swamp. That would be great.
Yeah. They'd sit it down in Louisiana somewhere, and then,
Yeah,
they start building around it. And it's like, hey, man, we're starting a club.
and it's yeah, and it's like that in and of itself, like his building just taking flight, is kind of silly, but it's just so comic book. Like
Mhm.
I
I
was
love
like
it.
when that
That was
happened,
great.
I was like, he's about to knock down his own, but oh, it flies, and he doesn't give a crap about the rest of his building. That's Lex. Like
That's
only he
Lex,
would be
man.
like, yeah, let's put rocket boosters in this. Why? Because 4D chess, motherfucker. Like this is, I know some stuff's gonna happen. This building's gonna fall down one day,
Your
and I'm gonna
job isn't
fly
to
away.
question what I do. Your job is to do
Yeah,
what I tell you. Thank you.
do the
That's
best of
Lex Luthor.
someone me.
Do what I would do, but actually do it.
Yeah,
I don't get out of my way. Let me do it. Yeah, man. I thought Nicholas Holt's Lex Luthor was he seemed really formidable, driven.
yeah.
It's a character that I look forward to seeing more of in the future.
Oh yeah, yeah. Same
Um,
here.
yeah, all of these, everybody in their respective roles did a wonderful job, really portraying, a Green Lantern, or Superman, and it felt like most of the roles were incredibly important. Um, I don't know, man. I think that I think it all fit together pretty well.
Yeah.
Um, oops, sorry, my computer's trying to die.
No,
There
you're all
we
good.
go.
Yeah, I thought he was. But yeah, I did think Nicholas Holt as Lex, I thought was great.
Mhm,
One of the thing, and I also liked the engineer lady.
mhm. Oh
She was
yeah,
creepy. She was
good
creepy
job.
looking.
She was
But yeah,
weird.
she was very weird, and I dug it. Like it was strange, but
Yeah,
man, I thought like her
I was
abilities and
there
stuff
for
were
it. I
pretty
was like,
cool.
she felt really formidable. Like I was like,
Yeah,
oh, okay. And then her with the hammer of Barovia, like that combination worked really well.
yeah,
Um,
oh yeah.
Especially in the big fight at the end of the film.
hmm
I don't know, man. It's pretty good.
I thought it was pretty cool. Um, Now one of the other things that was kind of in Lex's camp that was another one of my negatives for the movie was the blonde chick that was Lex's girlfriend that was complete airhead. The whole movie she felt just wildly out of place for me. I was like, what is this person doing here? Like why like I don't like I and she again we're going to get into some spoilers here, but I mean she did have a big part to play in the plot of the movie, but it was like, like it again, her being with Lex Luthor is bizarre. Like just how weird she was, how dumb she was, how ditzy she was, and it's like leagues below like Lex Luthor's intellect. Like I don't feel like he would even bother with her. So it was just very strange that she was there, and then of course it gets revealed later that she's also randomly obsessed with Jimmy Olsen, and she feeds him a bunch of her selfies that she's taken throughout the whole movie that have important Lex Luthor shit in the background. But it's like I don't know. It was strange. Like there was no build up to why she was there, why she was obsessed with Jimmy and Lex, and I don't. She was just a very bizarre character. Like she's just I chalk it up to just some of that James Gunn weirdness that works in a lot of things. I felt she was out of place in this one. I feel like they could have done something different, had a different character in there. The dude with the mustache that was part of Lex's entourage, like almost seemed like his number two that was starting to question Lex at the end. I almost feel like
Mhm.
he could have done something, but yeah, I mean, it even went as far. So again, getting in spoilers here. With the help of the engineer villain lady, they find Clark's Fortress of Solitude. They find the Fortress of Solitude in Antarctica, and when they finally go there, they bring her along. I was like, it's a very like you've got limited amount of space on this uh, jet thingy that you fly in on. It seemed like that seat could go to some kind of expert in some field. Not let's waste a very valuable seat on this stealth mission of sneaking into his base. Let's bring lady with goof brain along. Like I don't know. It didn't make any sense. Like again, Lex Luthor being the genius and tactical mind that he is to bring her along, I was like, it just felt way out of place.
It seemed kind of foolish.
A little bit, yeah,
She reminded me of the Kitty character, um, the Lex Luthor girlfriend from the Christopher Reeve and the Superman Returns movie. Just the woman that comes along who's not quite like a henchman, but like just some woman figure that he keeps around. You know,
yeah,
I feel like it for the most part, it's almost like a status thing. Well, I want people around me at all times. I like to feel like
yeah,
I'm important, and I like to feel like I have control over everything, including this person I say that is my girlfriend. And
hmm
that's kind of how he treats her. He almost treats her not exactly like
like a
a
person or
an incredibly abusive relationship. He doesn't treat her like a person. He treats her more like a pet.
yeah, just a
Um,
plaything kind
you
of.
know, yeah, and obviously it's a status thing because she's a very attractive woman and everything, and I think I kind of feel like that fits with the character, but it's like you say, why would he go through, with Lex Luthor being as calculating as he is, it doesn't make any sense for him to bring her along to the
Yeah,
Fortress of Solitude to, just like take pictures and just hang out and be
yeah,
stupid while I make plans against my mortal enemy, Superman. Yeah, does seem a little silly.
yeah, and having her around so much of his top secret, only his inner circle can know. All the people that he seemingly would trust.
Mhm.
Again, she didn't feel like that. Like she would be the type of person that Lex would have around all that stuff. Yes, have her around when he's off the clock, whatever. But I don't know. Like I said, she to me she was just very distracting,
Mhm.
and just like I
You
said,
know who
just
that could
didn't
have
fit.
been instead was Mercy Graves. Is what they should have
Mm,
done with that character. That
yeah,
would have.
that's kind of what I was thinking. Mercy would have been a good fit. Somebody a little bit more on Lex's level. Yeah, but yeah, she was, and then like like I said, when it gets revealed that she's the one that's gonna leak the stuff that ultimately leads to Lex being arrested, the evidence, the smoking gun that they need
Mhm.
to prove his link between the conflict and the Barovia and all that jazz. I was like, oh, that's why she was kept around. She was wearing a very heavy suit of plot armor. Like, I don't know. She just felt like a very random, like, oh, we need some character. Throw this at the
Miscontrivance.
wall, see
Here
if it
she is,
sticks. Yeah.
here to save the movie.
Yeah.
Miscontrivance.
Yes, exactly.
There
Yeah.
she is.
That's
Yeah.
that's kind of the way it felt to me. Then again, I thought the actress did a good job with the role that she was given. Not knocking her performance or anything. It was just I don't know. It felt like an out of place character to me. And
Mhm.
again, like I'm not the biggest Superman mind. Like I've not read all the comic books and stuff like that, so there might be some context that I'm missing. And I know that Jimmy Olsen does have like a weird female magnetism. Like women are just all
Mhm.
over Jimmy Olsen for
Women,
no good
women love it,
reason.
man. Yeah.
It's just, just for fun. I don't know. So, but again, like that was something that was explained to me like after the fact. After I saw the movie, I was like, why is this woman throwing herself at Jimmy Olsen of all things? Like I feel like I'm missing some massive context to why this character exists, especially in the role and in the all the important scenarios that she was in. It felt very weird.
Mhm.
But yeah, one of the other big cast members, Crypto. How'd you feel about old Crypto?
So I thought he was the best boy, obviously. Um, I thought, now crypto generally is like a Labrador,
Yeah,
um,
yeah,
which I know a lot of people were bent out of shape about, but um,
eh,
I thought that the dog they used was fine. Um, and one of the things that I've really enjoyed about it is, after the release of the movie, a lot of pounds and vets and anywhere else that has dogs that need to be adopted. This shelters and stuff. Saw a big increase of animals that got adopted out.
yeah.
So I think that as far as like a character goes, I think that they used the right amount of it. I don't feel like it was too much. Obviously, it
Yeah.
was done. He's in the movie for comedic purposes, and thought they did a really good job with that. But also, I think that because of that, it had a real world impact where a lot of animals are going home with owners that I hope do the right thing and take
Yeah.
care of them, of course.
Right.
But I like that um, that ended up being like a cool thing that came out of it as a result of this particular character. I
Yeah.
thought Crypto was actually very well done. Um, Otherwise,
Yeah, and I was nervous about Crypto. Like when I saw him in the trailers, I was like, "Yes, Crypto!" And the whole thing of Superman laying there and then Crypto jumping all over him and stuff. I was like, "Hey, it's my dog." So like I liked him in the trailers, but I did have the thought of if they overdo it, that could be a bad thing. Again, it could be a distraction. I thought they had a pretty even hand with Crypto. He was in there enough to be fun, to be likable. I think he did kind of. There was one scene that I felt like he did kind of ruin, and it was funny, but and I also think part of Crypto
I know
was,
what you're about to say.
huh?
I know what you're about to say. I know what you're about to
Yeah,
say.
yeah, but and I do think that he was kind of like they're going for that like baby Groot type character or the Grogu type character. Like they want something that's gonna make people go, "Oh, let me buy one." Like he's like what's that guy's name from the pitch meeting thing that like he calls baby Yoda the little green money baby. Like that that's kind of what yeah. Yeah, I think that's kind of what they're going for with Crypto. He's
I
partially
like money.
there. Yeah, I like money. Yeah, that Crypto is there to sell some toys, sell some plushies, and also again add another degree of levity to the movie. And like I thought it was great that they added him. I was like, is it too soon to bring him in? I was like, nah, go for it, do it, throw it in there.
Yeah, do it.
And but yeah, the one thing like the one scene that like I said, I do think there was a scene that he ruined. There was the moment pretty much at the end where Superman has Lex cornered, and they're having a dialogue back and forth, and it starts off as just such a great dialogue of them, the white versus black, good versus evil. Like here they are
Yeah.
having this conversation, hashing it out, and not just them fighting. It's like an
The
actual
war of
conversation with
ideologies, right there.
depth. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
war of ideologies, perfect way to put it. And then here comes Crypto, snatches Lex by the ankle, swings him around, which would freaking kill him, to be honest. I was like, his foot should have been gone or whatever he had a hold of. And I think what they were really trying to capture, at least the feeling I got from it, was in the first Avengers movie when Loki's about to go on his rant, and then Hulk just snatches him by the ankle and just smashes him around like a rag doll. Puny God. Like I kind of feel like that's what they were going for. And I was like, you're too late. Joss Whedon
Yeah,
beat you to it.
you already spent that nickel. Let's not
Yeah,
do that.
yeah.
Yeah.
So it's like I wish they would
Um,
have let that scene breathe just a little bit more.
yeah,
Of
100%.
um,
I think it was funny, but it definitely was reminiscent of that type of bathos, that Marvel humor, where
yeah,
it's like,
mhm,
let's have this really impactful, important moment, but then followed up with something that's really nonsensical and silly. And,
mhm,
it doesn't always need to be that. Like, you can actually just have a movie that has the depth and the complexity, especially then because they're having like a really serious moment, and it's like,
yeah. And it was great, great moment.
here's what this movie has been crescendoing to this whole time
Hmm.
is the meeting between these two and the final confrontation. And instead of having something that's really impactful and meaningful in that moment, we decided to turn into a big joke where
Yeah,
uh, you know. Uh, Crypto comes in and like could have killed this guy, which I think would have
Yeah.
put Superman in a lot of trouble. It's just like, get your dog under control. In any other scenario, they'd be calling the vet or somewhere. It's just like, listen, this dog attacked me. We need to put him down. You
Yeah.
know? You
Yep.
know what I mean? Well, let's not introduce that. You know what I mean? So we could have
Hey,
just had
Crypto, does
that
this
be
smell like
like,
kryptonite to you? Sorry
I'm
for that
not.
joke.
I had something I was going to say, but I'm not going to say it because it's awful and horrible. And no, I'm not. I'm not doing that. I'm sorry. Another stream, maybe you can talk me into
Oh
it.
yeah, yeah. But no, like
But
I
no,
felt
I
like
agree with you. I think that in part needed to be like the crescendo. Like
yeah.
finally, Superman and Lex Luthor had that big meeting. Superman has that really big, speech at the end, and it's really great. And then,
Hmm.
they didn't give Lex a moment. Of course, all he's done the entire movie is prove what kind of a jerk he is and like how
Yeah.
awful he is. And like, so it's not like you need that much more context, but to let him have like a little bit of say, and then the police come in and Lex Luthor, you're under arrest, or the rest of the Justice Gang come in and say, all right, let's take Baldy in, to Blackgate Prison, or let's take him away and lock away the key or whatever. That would have been a little better than have him almost get his leg ripped off by Crypto.
Yeah. He would have had several broken bones after that.
Oh yeah, one
But
hundred
no,
percent.
like the kind of the thought that I had with it, like I thought it would have been cool of, because there was a few people in his camp, in his little command center, that were starting to question him and be like,
Mm-hmm.
"This is not what I signed up for," kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
There's people that were like, saying it's like, uh, like Lex is like, "I'm trying to save the world from Superman or whatever," and they're like, "There's not going to be a world left to save if we don't pull it back a little bit here," kind
Mm-hmm.
of thing. So there was people that were starting to doubt Lex. I thought it would have been cool if they would have let that dialogue play out a little bit longer,
Mm-hmm.
and Superman, just through his good natured, his good spirit, and in a conversational way, actually best Lex Luthor, to the point that some of his henchmen, like they had the black dude in there that was like really like one of his number two guys.
Mm-hmm.
Like if he would have been starting to show some emotion on his face, like what have I just done with Lex here? And
Yeah,
then
or some
maybe
acceptance
maybe
even, just like
and
Superman's
maybe
right.
instead like
Why would
Superman actually illuminating to these people, Lex is evil. You're evil for going along with him. I'm right, he's wrong. And like maybe instead of Crypto barging in and ragdolling Lex Luthor, like I thought it'd been cool if that black dude would have been like, screw this, like he would have punched Lex out, like something like
give his
that.
moment, yeah, just like knock him
Yeah,
out.
and
Mm-hmm.
yeah, and then all of them would have been like, I don't know, just kind of in awe of Superman, because I will say that that was one thing I did feel like was missing a little bit from this movie, is like the Superman reverence. It was definitely there, and like you mentioned before, the almost Christ-like reverie they had for him in Zack Snyder, which I think was maybe a little heavy-handed. It was still kind of neat to see, but like I said, maybe too much. But there is very little of it in the Superman movie, of people having like true reverence and awe for Superman. And part of that was the plot where Lex Luthor was turning the people against Superman. So it's like, you get it to a degree, but I would have liked to see more than just the people in Barovia, or not Barovia, the other place, Anarana Papa, or whatever it was called. I forget the name of the place. But like they had like the people flying the flag for Superman and chanting
Mm-hmm.
Superman's name. So I mean, it was cool to see it there. But there's I'm gonna go on a little aside here. There is a movie called Plane with Gerard Butler. Kind of, low budget action type movie. Decent. It wasn't a great movie or by any stretch of the imagination, but Gerard Butler's character was a pilot. Like he was not like a military badass or anything like that. But
Mm-hmm.
they had to crash land the plane, and they landed on an island. Pretty much, mostly saved the plane, but the
Mm-hmm.
island was basically run by a drug cartel, kidnapping, drugs, arms, all the thing. Not good people. they kidnapped people from his plane, and Gerard Butler's like, "Well, I got to go save my passengers," and everybody's like, "Well, what are you gonna do?" He's like, "Whatever I can," you know. So
This
he,
is the plot of the movie.
this is Delta. But no, like I mean, he does like he sacrifices himself. He teams up with another dude that's a little bit more equipped to handle this kind of stuff,
Mhm.
and they save the people. And he damn near sacrifices his life to save these people. A lot of craziness ensues. They manage to cobble together the plane enough to get it to take off, get to the next island, and land again. And
Mhm.
again, with his piloting skills, again he saves the day. And afterward, like he's just like, oh my god, like just visibly exhausted and just can't believe that they're safe. All the passengers are like, thank you, you saved our lives. Like their reverence for just this everyday pilot. I mean, it was like you could feel it in the theater. Like I said, again, not it wasn't a great movie, but that scene at the end of like the reverie that they showed for this dude who just put his life on the line to save their asses, like you could feel it. It was well done, a well done scene. Gerard Butler was awesome in that scene, and I was just like, it would have been cool if they would have had that in Superman. And they had it in like little small doses. But even like Superman Returns, again going back to planes, the plane save scene there, like you had a whole baseball field erupt into applause, applauding Superman for saving this plane, and of course all the passengers. The gravity really hit them that they almost lost their lives had it not been for this amazing Superman, you know. And I felt like that was missing a little bit in this movie. They had scenes, they had moments, but I would, with how dark the Snyder movie was, I would have liked to seen a little bit more of that Superman reverence. But yeah,
I think that'll come to a later date. I think that they are building towards
I
that
think
for
it. I
sure.
think it will. I think it will.
Yeah.
I agree with that. But
This seemed more like a, this he's like he is established, but he's almost like the newest member, of all of the superhero club. Like he hasn't quite been tested, and he certainly hasn't been
yeah,
tested quite like this before. So I get that maybe there's a sense of him just being kind of new and people getting used to him, and
yeah,
then all this other crazy stuff kind of happens. But um, the thing that I really liked about it is that rather than it being like a giant celebration of, him being this godlike entity, it was more of a reflection of, his human side, just the
yeah,
regular everyday stuff. Because at the end of the day, that's all he wants to be is just a regular guy. And he's gifted these powers and he decides to do the right thing with them. And, with that'll
just a
come
guy
some
from Kansas.
recognition. And, yeah. With that'll come some recognition, and of course,
Yeah,
build upon a legacy, as it were.
yeah,
Title drop.
yeah,
But I feel like, as far as this being like a starting point for all of that, I think this is a good starting point. And then the reverence will come. Him being seen as like the hope for all of the world, and, beyond if they decide to go that far. I feel like we're
yeah,
at the very beginning of that, which I think is fine. But I thought that showing more of his human side and, him wanting to just be a regular dude, and that's what the whole crux of the movie kind of leans against, is like he really is just a lot like us, just fallible, and he messes things up, and he really is trying to do his best, and it isn't always the right thing, but he always does what he feels in his heart is the right thing. And
yeah,
for a lot of people who feel like I can't relate to this character, he's too godlike, I think that was a step in the right direction to go that
yeah,
route
yeah.
with.
And I think also too of like, Superman obviously very powerful. I'm glad they kind of toned him down a little bit because you can have
Mhm.
Superman be too powerful, and I think then it's just like, oh well, there's no stakes, he's gonna win.
Mhm.
So it's like I kind of like
Pretty much,
that
he's
he
just gonna
was,
punch you to death, and that's it.
yeah, yeah,
You're
yeah.
out for the count.
So
Yeah.
and I thought that was cool, but like kind of coming back to my thing talking about the reverence for him. I think they had an opportunity, like and we've talked about it before, but one of the things I didn't care for in the movie is he got his ass kicked the entire movie, pretty much.
Hmm. Hmm.
Like, I mean, the opening scene is him crashing, like what you see in the trailers, him crashing in the snow, battered and bloody. And when you see who he's fighting against, it makes sense. It does. Like, it's like, oh, that's why. Okay, so like it makes sense, but I still wanted to see more of him winning. Like the kaiju thing was pretty cool, but that was a team effort with the Justice Gang. Like I thought it would have
Hmm.
been cool, like even if it was just a couple minutes, like a montage of him fighting. Because like I said, they did it in with text saying that 3 years in is where he's at basically to donning the cape. Like instead of it just being a text scroll, like it would have been cool if they would have shown like some scenes of him fighting against some of his other villains. Maybe
Hmm.
smashing some Lex bots, or I don't know who would be another good like Metallo. Yeah, I think you mentioned Metallo
Metallo,
before. Like it would have been cool if
yeah,
like they would have showed a scene of him
uh,
fighting Metallo, or
the Parasite. That would be
Parasite. Yeah, that
pretty
would have been a good
cool.
one.
Yeah,
What's the ice chick, or no, not the ice chick, the lightning girl, Livewire.
Live.
Yeah,
Hmm.
so, something like that. Like it would have been cool to show some of his other villains that he's gone up against. Show him winning. Like that would have been cool. But by the time you get to him turning the tables, they tease all of the Lex like elite soldiers or whatever that had like the flight suits and the armor and all the jazz. They show them like he punches one in the face and knocks his teeth out. A bunch of them dogpile on him in midair, which is weird to have a midair dogpile. He goes
Hmm.
into spin cycle. They all go flying, and then he spin cycles again. Lasers done. I was like that.
That was awesome. What are you talking about?
I mean, it was cool, but like that was it. I was like, I would like to see that play out a little bit longer.
Yeah.
And then of course the
Well,
fight
again,
with
I think that we're building towards that. Like, I feel like a lot of that stuff has to be earned because this feels very entry level to me. A lot of this feels
I
very
get
entry
it.
level to me. To see if this world will work, to see if these,
Yeah,
types of characters and the way we're trying to portray them, if that's all going to work.
yeah.
Like I said, this movie does look. It's almost a little too safe in some regards. And
I can
just
see
like,
that. I can see
hey,
that. Yeah,
hey, have you seen, Superman against Lex Luthor? Well, we're gonna do that again, and if you like it, then we'll keep doing it. That's
yeah,
that's the kind of feeling I got from this. And so, what will they do next? It would be cool to. Here's what I want ultimately, guys, girls, all good people of the internet. I have been asking for a Brainiac storyline for a
100%.
long, long time.
100%. Yeah,
And I think that with this movie, it is successful. I would say it's a very successful movie. I would say that if they can get to that point where they're telling that story, or if they tell like a proper dark side story, that would be the absolute best because that's like the big time villains, and I don't think it would make sense now for Superman in the first outing in this whole entire universe to be like, all right, well. It would almost be like the Avengers, like in the first movie. Instead of it being Loki, Thanos came out and he's like, ha, ha, "Here I am. I'm in my helicopter," and all that
yeah,
weird shit. Like,
yeah,
I feel like a lot of that has to be built towards, and I like that. I don't know. I feel like for a beginning for all of this stuff, whatever it ends up being, this feels like a step in the right direction, a very safe step, maybe
yeah,
unsatisfactory to a lot of people. Like, I 100% hear you, but I feel like if they can kind of keep this energy going, but then just kind of like, okay, well, how do we step this up? I think
yeah,
that's a better track to be on, rather than just like, you know what? Then it would feel overstuffed if we tried doing a little too much in the first Superman movie. To
yeah,
me, anyway.
yeah, yeah. And that like, and I get that. Like, and I think they are definitely building to something. Um, the the problem that I see with that is I I kind of I'm afraid that the superhero genre is on its way out. Um,
Mhm.
and it's like, do you have the time to build to it? And and I say that also recognizing that to me it seemed evident that Zack Snyder was trying to play catch up to Marvel
Oh
with
yeah,
his run of movies. Like they try like
you're
like
right.
I said, they tried to cram way too much into Batman v Superman. Like way too much into that movie. I was like, you've got like 8 different plot lines. People are at ages that are all over the place. Like
That does make sense.
this is a mess. This is a mess. So it was like I don't know, kind of pumping the brakes a little bit. I definitely agree with that, but like again, it was just it's supposed to be a new hopeful Superman, but again, he got his ass kicked the entire movie. It was like I wanted to see a little bit of winning, you know, but
He won. He won in
he
the end.
did he did win.
You have to have some. You have to have some. Um, you know, some conflict with Superman because it's like we've been saying, and this is
Yeah,
Superman we're talking about.
yeah,
At the end of the day, when Superman can decide when the fight needs to be over, and it could have
yes,
been over, very quickly. So it's I think it is to build some stakes and that this guy can be hurt. And
yeah,
to that, one of the things I really liked was the very creative use of the engineer's powers when they decide to,
yeah. That
all
was
right, you know
cool.
what, let's try to kill him.
I didn't see that
Let's end
coming.
this
Yeah,
right here, right now. No. And I thought that, oh my gosh, like they found a really interesting way. It's not kryptonite, it's not
mm-mm.
magic, it's not like some parasite like the Black Mercy or anything. No, they found like a really creative, interesting way to try to kill Superman. Which it's only through because like I'm sitting. My experience was this: I'm sitting in the movie theater and I'm watching this all play out, and then I'm in my mind thinking like, well, what would I do? And I can't think of anything, and it's like the panic in my mind started to settle in. Like if I'm not able to breathe and like I can't see or anything. It's like, well, what do you do? And then like he has
Yeah,
that really great scene where he basically shakes off everybody by flying so high that they can't quite keep up, and then slamming everybody back down into the ground. And I was like, wow, that's pretty cool. Like
yeah,
I like that it created some sense of urgency finally with the Superman character because it's like we've been saying. In any other scenario, the fight would be over in a few punches, and that would be the end
yeah,
of it. And you have to absolutely have some kind of conflict for people to grab onto. Otherwise, it's just, well, I'm bored because I'm just watching this guy absolutely decimate the entire field of villains that's in
yeah,
front of him.
yeah.
You know?
And not like I look back at the Justice League show. There was a lot. There was definitely some villains that Superman was like, "All right, I got the kid gloves on.
Hmm.
You should stop. You're
Hmm.
not stopping. Oh, okay, okay, okay. Are you done? You gonna stop now? Okay, thank you. Good. Thank you for stopping." And and then there's like those stronger villains like Mongol or Lobo. People like that give Superman a run for his money.
Hmm.
And and of course he's at first it's almost like he goes into those fights of like, okay, I don't want to break this guy. Oh, he can take one of my punches. Oh, his punches actually kind of hurt a little bit. It's like, okay, time to get serious and let's end this. Let's enough's enough. Time to end it. But and again, and I think we're at the point now where we could go ahead and spoil the Hammer of Barovia.
Hmm. Do it.
So again, for those of you
Last
who haven't
chance to
seen the
walk
movie,
away.
they want this to be a surprise. Now is your time to step away.
Last chance.
Three, two, one. Okay, so Hammer of Barovia ends up being Ultraman, which is Lex Luthor's clone of Superman. So it's like I said, I wanted to see him not get his ass kicked the whole movie,
Mhm.
but when you realize he's fighting himself, like he's fighting somebody who's on par with him, strength, speed, everything wise, and you realize, oh, so I mean, it makes sense that he was getting his ass handed to him because of, again, just of who he's fighting. So it's like I had less of a problem with it when that reveal was made. But but again, I think there was ways you could have shown him have some victories before you got to that part.
Mhm.
And maybe it would have added on 5-10 minutes to the movie. Yeah, I think you could have cut a lot of scenes with ditzy blonde lady, and that would have been fine. um, but yeah, so I was like, having that realization that Lex has a Superman clone,
Mhm.
like I was like, oh, okay, stakes just went way up.
Mhm.
And seeing again David Corn Sweat playing um, an evil version of himself in the movie too, with the long hair, like a different look. I was like,
Mhm.
it was brief what you got of Ultraman Unmasked, but like again, he did good with it. Like it was cool.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you did also see like they had a moment where he faced off against the engineer by herself, wiped her out almost immediately. I was like,
Yeah.
okay,
Mhm.
that's what Superman would do.
Mhm.
But she almost took him out with the help of Ultraman. So again, that was a cool, like a really cool team up there.
And very, very creative use of the abilities there. I thought that was really, it really did create
Yeah.
like a moment in my mind of panic, just like, oh,
Yes.
what is Superman going to do to get this out of the way?
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, you know, surely they're not going to kill him like on screen, but I mean, I
No.
don't know. What's this
No.
movie about? Um, one of
His
the,
day ain't here yet. He can't die.
I mean, and only his second movie, Henry Cavill, got killed.
Yeah. Yeah. Fair. Jumped
So
the
I
gun a
mean,
little bit.
what are they planning to do here?
Yeah.
Um, but I think one of the things that and again, this is brings it back to the evil Superman. We
Yeah.
understand that there is a clone and everything, but the way that the clone gets taken out, it has a lot of people incensed because it's
Agreed. Yeah.
reminiscent of Henry Cavill's Superman when it seems like there's no other choice. In that one scene where General Zod, he's got General Zod almost dead to rights, and General Zod decides like, hey, look at that family over there, let's roast them, and instead of Superman doing any number of things, he decides to snap his neck.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people who are upset that David Sweatycorn decided that the best way to take this guy out is to throw him into this black hole that seems to be, getting bigger and bigger by the second. It doesn't really throw him; it lets a bus kind of carry him down as they're fighting. But
Yeah. That was a cool
um,
scene.
now it was a really cool scene. But my thing is this: I don't think that Superman is dead. I don't think that
I mean,
Ultraman
like
died.
I it yeah, it would
And
not
I
surprise me.
think
Yeah.
that yeah, I think that maybe Superman understands that. Like okay, well, I'm going to do what I can to get this guy out of the way. I'm just going to chuck him into this black hole. It would absolutely be incredible if we see that character come back as Bizarro. Um,
Oh, that would be
that's
awesome.
that's uh, That's what I would really like to see happen. Or, Lex Luthor decides, hey, I'm going to try to make another clone, and then Bizarro gets made somehow. Um,
Cat invasion.
that would be cool. Mhm.
Got a cat
Yeah.
invasion.
That,
Yeah. No. I think if they open the floodgates for Bizarre Superman, that would be fantastic. And
mhm.
again,
Would be a lot of
having somebody with origins from Earth going through a black hole, I mean, it opens up a whole can of worms to for him. I mean, because I don't know, maybe if anybody could survive going through a black hole, maybe it would be Superman, and maybe he wouldn't come out 100%. He would come out a little bizarre.
fun. Mhm.
I think that could be cool. It's like who could he run into going through a black hole? Darkseid, maybe. Um, Brainiac,
I don't
maybe.
know.
Zod.
I don't know.
Could he
But
end
he
up
looks
in the
exactly
Phantom
like
Zone?
Superman. How does this character go about the universe looking like Superman and doing God knows what, creating
Yeah,
this imagery or that other people from other worlds have of Superman, I mean,
yeah.
um,
And I
what do you do? I feel like it's like you say, it opens up a can of worms.
And I think they kind of heavily implied that this could go into a Bizarro Superman direction. Because Lex even said like his brain is flawed, like his brain's not all there. So it's like the only thing that makes the Ultraman great is Lex Luthor and his team controlling the thing. All right, cat, but it's got to go somewhere. Thank you. Um, Sitting here trying to talk Superman. My cat's trying to start an OnlyFans. Jesus Christ. Um, but
Yeah.
yeah. Um, but yeah, and like I said, him going into the ether out there through a black hole. I mean, you know what they always do in comic books. It's like there's something on the other side of that black hole. What is it? It's just a
Yeah.
portal. So yeah, like he could run into a whole slew. I mean, hell, they've talked about introducing Lobo. Jason Momoa's Lobo, one of the best
Mhm.
castings ever, by the way. They should
Oh
give him
yeah,
that.
100%.
Yeah, it's like could Lobo be out there flying around on a space Harley and run into Ultraman floating around?
Mhm.
Something like that. I mean, that could be a gateway into all kinds of cool shenanigans.
Yeah,
Um,
100%.
so yeah, I think that was a neat way to end it. Thank God, and going back to the whole again, back to Snyder verse.
Uh-oh.
Superman snapping Zod's neck. It's like, come on, there's so many different things he could have done there. Fly up
Yeah,
would have been one of them. Just yeah.
fly
So
out
I don't know.
or very quickly move the family out of the way because again, you're Superman,
Yeah,
or get in the way of the heat vision. Like, I
yeah.
mean,
Just put your hand over his
yeah,
face and make him burn his own
yeah.
eyeballs out just a little bit. Like,
Or
yeah,
just throw them, throw them through the building, just
yeah.
behind them, and I don't know. What
And
what would have been
and
the most justified punishment for Zod, and they could have used him later. But what they should have done is just found some way to throw him back into the Phantom Zone. Is what they should have
yeah,
done
yeah. That would
with
have been
him.
cool. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah, they took that leap of
Shoulda, coulda, woulda.
turning him into apparently prepubescent tweaker Lex combined with Zod blood makes Doomsday. I don't know. I was really hoping that at the end of Batman versus Superman, when Lex is in prison getting his head shaved, little Jesse Eisenberg, I was hoping like right after they finished shaving his head, the guard had been like, Luther, you got a visitor. And then just from the back, you see a guy, bald head, broad shouldered, stoic, tailored suit, walking in. Alex, what have you done? And that would
Mm-hmm.
be actual Lex Luthor. And
Mm-hmm.
this little prepubescent weenie would have been Lex Luthor's son, like
Mm-hmm.
doing something. Like, I thought that would have been cool. Just actual Lex Luthor slapping the shit out of him. Just be like, yeah.
And if that
But I
person could
digress.
have absolutely been, what's his name, John Hamm.
John Hamm, yeah, that
Uh,
would have been cool.
yeah, that would have made it. You
Yeah.
know, I think he would have been an excellent Lex Luthor. I think he really would have been a really good Superman as well if they were looking for a
Yeah.
much older gentleman to play Superman.
Talking
Um,
about, also mentioning the Fantastic Four, I thought John Hamm would have made a good Mr. Fantastic.
he was probably asked to do it, but I'm sure I mean, he's smart enough to be like, I don't know, man.
Yeah, I could see that.
You
Yeah, because
know,
it is true that Pedro
I
was
don't
not the
know.
first one they asked for the role. So,
Yeah,
yeah.
he was probably like, yeah, I mean, this sounds cool. This sounds like a cool opportunity, but you guys are kind of on the outs, and I don't know if I want to. I don't know if I want to go down with the ship.
Yeah.
Um, which is fine. But to bring it back to Superman,
Yeah.
just some odd thoughts that I had in watching the movie. This is definitely a depowered type Superman. He's not.
A little bit,
He
yeah.
does get beat up. He can get thrown around a little bit. Um, One thing that and this is something I just noticed, is anytime he was like kind of depowered and like he didn't have all of his strength. Um, he did something that I used to see in the Max Fleischer cartoons that came out so long ago. Those original Superman type cartoons,
He's a bird. It's a
and
plane. It's Superman.
yeah, those exact ones. Um, that Superman. He could fly, but what he would do to get himself started is he would use his foot or he would jump, and it made it like the animation feel like it had more gravity to it, right?
Yeah.
Just he would try to propel himself off of the building. Like he was always like it wasn't just like he like kind of lifted up and straight in the air and just kind of floated away. It's that he
Hmm.
jumped, and that's how he got around from place to place, and where got his flight started. And when Superman in this movie was depowered, he did the same thing. And I
Hmm.
mean, I thought, oh wow, that's actually
I didn't
really
catch
cool.
that.
Like
Yeah.
it's a little detail that I kind of noticed that he kind of jumps or he might try to get where he needs to go, and it's I don't know, man. I really enjoyed that. I don't know if that was intentional or not. It feels like it kind of was because it only
Yeah.
ever happened when like, he wasn't like at full strength, you know.
Yeah.
So
That's cool. Yeah. I didn't. I
mhm,
missed that. And not that was one thing that I did like about it. Like I said, I complained about him getting whooped the whole time,
mhm.
but it also led to something that I loved, is that he never stayed down. He always got back up, and he
Nope, nope.
rushed back into the fight. Like he was ready to sacrifice of himself to save people. And
And
that
there's a
was
lot of people in this movie,
he
including
does
a squirrel.
a squirrel. Yeah. um, the next movie he'll save a turkey. No.
It'll be a hot girl,
The
and it's
wrong
just her
turkey.
face, and now she's just a turkey now, turkey girl.
But no, um, no, like, and that was one of my favorite parts was the kaiju fight scene. Like, and again, I kind of I'm of two minds about the Justice Gang. Uh, but the kaiju fight was so cool because it
Yeah, it was
showed
awesome.
Superman do the flying double fist punch, smack the thing right in the nose, and then it's not just like turn around like ha ha as it destroys half the city falling down. He smacked it, flew around, caught it, stood him back up, and was planning on how to get the fight out of the city to actually save the creature. I was like, again,
Mhm.
that's Superman. Like you see in
Perfect.
several in comic books and the Justice League show and some of the animated movies and stuff like that. Inside of the Fortress of Solitude, he has like a menagerie of weird alien creatures.
Mhm.
Some of them are benign, some of them are highly dangerous.
Incredibly dangerous.
But
Yeah.
yeah, it's like I'm not going to kill you just because you're a wild animal acting within your nature. It's not your fault that you're on this planet that you don't belong. You don't deserve to die for it. So it's like, it's cool to see his wheels turning of how can I save this giant hulking monster that everybody else just wants to kill.
Mhm.
But again, also recognizing that it has to be stopped and it has to be stopped immediately. So when Mr. Terrific did his thing using the T spheres to blow it up from the inside, he was like, come on, guys. But it wasn't like, how dare you? You killed this thing, you murderer. It was like, I would have liked to handle it a different way, and I was working towards that, but I understand at the
But
same
yeah,
time, too.
I get what you did. Yeah,
Not
it's
not
just
everyone
important.
can take his fire breath in the face like I can and survive. So it was like,
Mhm.
necessity outweighed his desire. He wasn't gonna do it, but it was nice to see that he was sad that it happened, but also understanding that I don't know, maybe is even as far as this isn't my planet, I'm a guest here kind of thing. Like
Mhm.
these guys are the superheroes of Earth, and I'm helping
Yeah,
out obviously in a huge way, but it's like, yeah, I'm not gonna step on their
I
toes for
wonder.
doing what needed to be done.
I wonder if this Superman will end up having a pet sun eater.
Pet Sun Eater.
Because
that would
we'll have to look more into the Fortress of Solitude. I think that's
yeah.
if we do get to see some of those things, that would be really cool.
Yeah, and
And
obviously when
James
he's
Gunn
got like his
himself is
menagerie of weird animals, that's a much more established Fortress of Solitude than Superman. So
Yes.
Yeah.
And James Gunn himself has said that this all of this is supposed to be based on All Star Superman, which is what I was
Hmm.
referencing just now with the Pet Sun Eater. Um, and so I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what
Yeah.
happens. But overall, I would say this movie was a lot of fun. There was a lot of really fun things about it. I enjoyed myself at the movie theater. I never felt bored. I felt like the movie was paced really well. All of the characters in this film were really well done and really well fleshed out. Despite not
Except
having any
Hawkgirl.
of the origin story, none of like I don't feel like nobody needs to see Krypton blow up again. That's not
No.
necessary.
No.
If you live on a deserted island, with nobody there, they all know who Superman and Batman's origin is. They could probably tell you that. They know the Waynes get murdered. They know that Krypton blows
Yeah.
up. So I don't like. I like that they kind of jump straight into, this being just kind of a Superman. Well, you know the guy. We can
Yeah.
kind of jump straight into the story.
Well, that was
But yeah,
that was one of the things I liked that Snyder did with Batman versus Superman. The way they introduced the Batman origin story, just music background, almost some like cinematic still shots almost.
yeah, these
Um,
vignettes that kind of happen that
yeah,
you kind of see
to
like the
paint the
scene
picture,
playing out.
summed it
Hmm.
up in like 2 minutes. Like it was like, yep, we get it. Awesome, move on. Like, and that
Hmm.
was, and that's one thing. Again, I've been knocking Zack Snyder here, but I think visually, Zack Snyder is a really good director. Of
Hmm.
capturing just some like beautiful scenery and the way he does the camera and
Yeah,
the contrast and stuff like that. Like I think he's great at that.
yeah.
So I like the way he did the Batman thing. And like you mentioned, we don't need to see, like you said, you don't need to see Krypton blow up again. We get it.
Mhm.
I will say that was another one of kind of my issues with the movie is the message from his parents.
Oh yeah,
And Bradley
very
Cooper as
controversial.
Jor-El. That was a
That was an odd
weird,
decision.
weird, weird casting choice.
Yeah,
Um,
maybe if he was a raccoon, maybe people would have accepted it a little bit more.
if it was what?
If he was a raccoon, maybe people would have grabbed onto it a little bit more.
Anyway, Kal-El, you gotta be on Earth. But yeah, that was terrible, Rocket. Anyways, but yeah, like obviously that's another big plot point in the movie is the message being damaged, him not having the whole message. He's lived his whole life thinking that his parents love him more than anything, more than the universe, the land, the Bitcoin, whatever. And they're like, it gets revealed that when Lex Luthor and the engineer find the Fortress of Solitude, are able to get in, and the engineer is able to figure out his technology with her abilities.
Hmm.
She uncovers the message, and she's like, "Hey, there's more to it. I can fix it." And she does, and the rest of the message is basically go out there, make yourself a harem, spread your seed, conquer the planet. I was like, that's a little heavy handed. And again,
Yeah.
it's like I've been contemplating of whether or not I could take my 6-year old to go see the movie. Like that's
Hmm.
one of the scenes where I'm like, nah, I don't want to have to explain to my 6-year old what a harem is. So it's like, I don't know. I felt that was
It's a club.
yeah, very elite club.
It's like a club. It's an adult club.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, that's completely valid.
yeah,
I
yeah. So
you
it's
know I go back and forth on this,
yeah,
mostly because I think that I mean this is Lex Luthor we're talking about. Maybe there's a lot of truth in the message. Maybe it's actually
yes,
what was said, possibly. But we got to remember that the person who supposedly um, who translated all this, Lex Luthor, it's not beyond him to want to, you
yeah,
know, kind of
doctorate,
doctor things, yeah, such of a
yeah,
way where it's like, maybe this can be translated into this, or maybe this can be seen as this. So did they give him like a false or just like a something that's not entirely true? That's entirely possible. Do I think that
Yeah.
we'll figure it out later? Yes, because one of the things that I really liked about the new 52 Superman was that um, much later, when that Superman is missing, and then the original Superman from the original universe comes into the new 52 universe, one of the things that he remarks about new 52 Superman's Fortress of Solitude is like, wow, I'd never thought to do this. Here I've been honoring my parents from Krypton by having their statues in the fortress, but this person went as far as to include his human parents as well.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that, if right now what we're seeing is more of the human side of Superman, so obviously he's going to
Yeah.
honor his human parents a little bit more. But I think much later he'll, whether we discover that Lex Luthor lied or that there's more to it than what was presented, I think that he'll start to come back around. So you do get that full circle of, well, I need to honor both parents because both of them were well intentioned. And if they really leave off on Bradley Cooper just saying just like, yeah, just go around and have a bunch of women and make a bunch of babies and bring Krypton back to life, that would
Yeah.
be really disappointing, because
Yeah.
that's not really Jor-El at all. And I don't think that they'll honestly leave it there. I think there's more
I hope they
context
don't.
that needs to be added to that.
I tell you, I tell you what. One of the things I'm hoping for, and I was kind of hoping they would address it later, but I don't know. It kind of seemed like they went all in on it because I think if I remember correctly, even Mister Terrific was like, no, that was the real footage, like that's what it was.
Mhm.
So it's like I don't know. It kind of seemed like they set it in stone, but I'm still hoping. And I was hoping they would do like an after the credits scene of like maybe the robots and Superman like repairing the Fortress of Solitude, um, like rebuilding the computer, and Superman being like the robot being like, I think the image was doctored. We can fix it.
Mhm.
And they show like them trying to repair the image, and like a flash of Brainiac symbol pops up for a second or something like that.
Mhm.
Like it was Brainiac that's actually in the Fortress of Solitude computer.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
he was the one that doctored it to try to convince Superman to weaken the planet by, conquering the planet, tearing down Earth's defenses, and then Brainiac can come in and do his thing on the planet. Like I thought that would have been like
Look,
a cool way to
Metropolis.
spin why his parents were, uh, why the message was so harsh. Um,
Mhm.
uh, I don't know. I thought that
I
would have been kind of neat, but
I
and
really think we
I'm
need
hoping
more.
it's not just resolved and that's it. His parents are terrible. Like I hope
Yeah,
it's something more.
I'm really hoping it's just that we need more context to what
Yeah,
was actually said and what they actually did, and because to leave it at that and kind of turn the people of Krypton into warmongers, or just like, hey,
yeah,
we're looking out for us, so screw everybody else. That just doesn't. The whole purpose of them sending their son to Earth anyway is so that he could be among us and be safe and have a life, have hope, of
yeah,
having a life where he could live, because Krypton was doomed. And he didn't want, the Superman's parents just didn't want that to happen to Earth. So, I mean, it doesn't make
yeah,
any sense, I guess. Um, it doesn't the movie. Like, I understand that a lot of people, especially Superman purists, they look at this and go, "Well, that's not right." But it's like,
yeah,
well, I guess I'm willing to give it a shot in the
yeah,
sense that
yeah,
I need to understand a little bit more. Like, I'm not willing to
yes,
just write
yeah,
everything off or say that this is a terrible movie because they
exactly, yeah,
butchered a character. But I mean, there has to be some kind of payoff and something that we understand later. Because if it is just that, then it's a really disappointing thing to me.
yeah,
You know.
yeah. It definitely could be. And again, it's not too late to maybe fix that a little bit. And it's
I,
like the Kryptonian people are a stern people. They're
mhm,
a no nonsense type of people. Like even in like Smallville, like if I remember correctly, it was something like save them through strength, basically.
mhm,
So I mean, in a lot of ways, it was him saying like, yeah, impose your will over the people, but it wasn't conquer them and clap cheeks until you have babies everywhere.
Is
Like
this
it was,
Superman or is this
yeah,
what's it called? Invincible. I mean,
yeah,
it's starting to sound like this is Invincible a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, and like I said, there's cool ways you could spin it. I mean, the simplest would be the engineer doctor the footage, just to turn people against Superman. That would be the simplest way you could spin that. To yeah, his parents were maybe flawed, but not that psycho. But yeah, so it's like I'm interested to see where they go with it, and hopefully they do something a little different. But and if not, it's not a deal breaker, but it is just one little thing that just kind of tips the scales into maybe don't do that, kind of.
And don't do that. That's not good.
Yeah,
Don't change it so much that you absolutely break like a fundamental thing within Superman's world. You know, that's I think that's a good idea. But again, like I say, I think that at some point they'll add a little more context to it, and we'll understand kind of what's going on there, and then it'll be like,
yeah.
oh, I see. You know, I see what's
Uh,
happening.
Two more things I wanted to pick your brain on. What were your thoughts on Metamorpho and Clark's Earth parents, the Martha and Jonathan Kent?
Martha and Jonathan Kent. Um, Now, this is something my wife and I talked about. I'll speak to Superman's parents, but we kind of like that they weren't like, they weren't like very attractive or conventionally attractive people. They looked like people that were just, they lived on a farm their entire life. They grew up in the Midwest and,
Yeah,
they're just kind of simple people. Um, and I say that with keeping in mind that they look a lot like the characters that are in All Star Superman. If you've ever read that, if you look at the design of them, I mean, it's almost a
I
one to
haven't read it.
one.
Yeah,
Yeah. At which, if they decide to use that storyline, it'll be incredibly sad. What happens? I won't say to who or what. Read that for yourself. I won't spoil that because you should absolutely do that. There's an animated movie, which doesn't include the scene,
you
but
said
it's
it doesn't
implied
doesn't
that
include. It's
happen.
implied. Yeah.
No, it doesn't. You have to read it. I mean, you should read it anyway. Frank
So I
Quietly,
know I've seen the All Star Superman movie, but
um,
yeah, I've not read it
Grant
though.
Morrison. But yeah, Frank Quietly, Grant Morrison, they crafted this really awesome story, which tells the death of Krypton in just like a few lines.
Mm.
Doomed planet, last hope, kindly couple, Superman. Like it's done in like just a handful of panels, and it's excellent.
Yeah,
Um, but the way that they looked and the way that they kind of acted, it was very reminiscent of that All Star Superman kind of vibe. I could
yeah,
definitely understand where if you grew up in the South, like some of us around here, you hate looking at country bumpkins. It's like, well, this seems like I don't know. You guys are doing Southern face or something, which is country. It's like blackface, but for country folk.
yeah.
So I get that, it's like you're looking at
Southern
that and
face.
it's like, wow, that's a horrible misrepresentation of what like, farmers are supposed to look like. But
Yeah,
overall I thought that was very really well done. And I like that they look like their comic counterparts from All Star Superman with
yeah,
Superman's parents. Um, and then Metamorpho. Um, that's an interesting take on the character, uh, but only just in that I wasn't sure how this actor was going to play it out. But Metamorpho being this character who just like you get the sense that he just doesn't he isn't too big on himself because of how he looks or whatever.
yeah,
That's a very super huge thing. And
yeah,
I think the actor did a really good job with what he had. Like, what an interesting character with strange abilities, right? Um, Overall, I really enjoyed it, and again, it's just another odd character that I'm glad that they added in because you got to see some
yeah,
really interesting abilities happen as a result, and um, I would like to see more of it. Like I liked it overall. I thought he was
yeah.
done really well.
And I liked that in a lot of ways. Like they show that he could be a very serious threat to Superman.
Oh yeah, 100
Um,
percent.
and I did like that he again he felt very comic booky. to
Hmm.
me.
Oh, he was
Um,
super comic booky. Yeah,
they,
love that.
I don't know. It's like they weren't afraid to lean into his weird looks. Because like again, seeing him in like the Justice League show, it was like he's a weird looking dude. Very
Hmm.
cool, very powerful, but he's very weird looking. He like just based on his looks, he's not going to be one that like kids buying comic books. Metamorpho is my favorite. He is weird looking. But I'm glad they leaned into it. Like they
Yeah,
really
it's
leaned into
awesome.
it.
Hmm.
And they still made him cool. They still made him heroic.
Hmm.
And that leading to the fight scene, and this is one of the triumph scenes that I liked with Superman, of him fighting while protecting the baby. Like
Hmm.
that was like, to me, that was one of the coolest scenes. Like he's just,
Yeah,
again, he's
pure
like, this
Superman.
river is killing me. This baby is the primary target. Laser beams coming,
Hmm.
protect the baby. I'll take it. And you know he's not fully charged up either through
Hmm.
all that whole fight. And Metamorpho too also come about. Well, I can't turn into sun, but I can do this, and starts listing off all the chemicals and gases and everything needed to make an facsimile of solar energy for Clark. Like that was cool. That was a very cool
Yeah,
moment.
yeah, it was
So
very
I
cool.
like I loved Metamorpho, and I thought he was great.
Yeah,
And
it's great.
again that scene of again Superman saving people, and actually winning, like doing good in that scene of like stopping the Lex soldiers and protecting the baby. And me being a dad, it's like scenes like that before I was a dad, like I was like, oh yay, save baby. After having kids, like save the baby, save it. Like it's a lot harder now having
Yeah,
kids. So it's yeah, that was, I loved that scene. Like just every bit of that was cool.
yeah, it was great.
The and like I said, and Metamorpho basically being a floating head, like through some. I was like, again, I thought that was great. I was like, that's hilarious that they went that far with his powers.
It was very comic booky, man. It was
Oh yeah,
really
yeah.
good, really good. I like that. If we are kind of reaching the last season of the superhero films and interest and all of that, we're starting to move on to whatever will be next. Which, if you ask me, I think Aliens will be next. The next big thing that
Alien
people kind
movies.
of, yeah, Alien movies is what I would guess.
I think it could be
Or
aliens or
or video.
video game adaptations.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah. Um,
maybe
I
anime will
think
come in
that.
and sweep.
I'm sorry.
I said maybe anime will come in and just sweep the rug out from everybody.
I
What
mean,
what
I
do you
I
see
don't know.
Demon
You're
Slayer?
starting to see the rumblings there with like the One Piece live action show,
Mm-hmm.
which is legitimately good. If you
Yeah,
like that kind of
yeah.
thing, definitely watch that. It's very good. But I like that. If we're getting into the last, kind of the last gasp of all the superhero movies, if we're going to just absolutely do away with the majority of them, I like that this movie felt very comic booky. It's like, let's go
Mm-hmm.
back to what makes these characters really fun and weird, and just makes them really stand out. And I want more of this. Like, if we're gonna have to go down, let's go down swinging and tell some really cool
Yeah,
stories. And it's just, I don't know, man. I If you're a comic book fan, if you like the comics, there's a lot that you'll look at this and go like, man, I feel seen. Thank you for doing
yeah.
that.
And that
Especially in the case of Metamorpho, which is like just about as comic booky as you get. You
oh
know?
yeah, yeah. And it was great. It was great.
Oh yeah.
And that's, I want to touch on something, but I do want to just chime in on his parents,
Mhm.
the Kents. I thought they
Mhm.
were, again, it was a little heavy handed
Uh-oh.
with the,
Too much country
because
faith.
well, yeah, well it's like how did his parents sound that southern, despite not really, I don't think Kansas counts as the South, but I don't know.
Mhm.
How did they sound that southern, but Clark had none of that? It's like I was born and raised in the South myself, but my dad was from Illinois, my mom was from Ohio. So it's like I was born and raised in the South, but not from Southern parents, kind of thing.
Hmm.
But it's hard for that accent to not appear in your child. And Jonathan Kent didn't have it as much as Martha Kent did.
Hmm.
So I don't know. It was there, but and again, that was another scene that when he was again after being battered and recouping at the farm for a little bit, they did have a pretty touching scene. I mean, it felt a little generic, the conversation between him and his dad,
Hmm.
but it was a touching moment, very cool moment. Again, undercut by a joke immediately of
Hmm.
Martha coming out, "You lush, there's something on the TV." It was like okay, and and another thing, like I loved Smallville. I thought Smallville was great. I loved the
Hmm.
set of the Kent farm. Like that set was
Hmm.
awesome. It was great.
Yeah.
Felt like a farm. Felt like a working farm. What's his face? John Schneider that played Jonathan Kent. Like you see behind the scenes interviews. He made a point that when he was on camera, he was doing something. Like he's like,
Hmm.
when you work a farm, you're not just standing around. So I made sure that there was props and stuff. Like I'm digging fence posts. I'm carrying bags of feed or hay. Like I'm doing something. Like I'm working, and it's not pretend work. I'm actually working on set. Like I'm doing stuff. It
Hmm.
felt like a farm. Their farm was like a house with 7 cows in their backyard. Like it didn't feel like a farm, and
The
that's
cows are
totally
doing the work for him, dude. What are you
and
talking
on
about?
on me that's totally a nitpick. Like it's not a complaint with any gravity to it. It's a nitpick for sure. Um, but yeah,
They
and
have
I
one
and
of
I
those
will
new
say
modern
the
farms
actor
where
that
they have
the
machines just do all of it. You know?
yeah yeah
Yeah.
well and and the actor they got to play Jonathan Kent. I mean that guy looked like he was struggling to move around. I was like, well, I guess that leans into the fact that he's about to have a heart attack. Like it fits that actor.
Hmm.
And that being said, though, at the end when the robot asks, "Oh, do you want to see the recording of your parents?" Yeah, that would be nice. And instead of it being the uh, Jor-El clip, it was videos of his childhood with them too. I was like,
Hmm.
okay, they brought it back. They brought it back full circle. Of there's the Kents. There they are. Like
Yeah.
that was great. That was
That was
very
awesome.
cool.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, that was very touching. But yeah, but one of the other things I kind of want to talk about, like where you talk about this kind of being the last leg of the superhero movie, like as a genre, it's like I don't think it'll ever fully go away, but it'll go back to being more niche. And that's one of the things. Like you can do it. You can still have very entertaining movies that still appeal to the comic book fan and will be celebrated by the
Mhm.
comic book fan. You're not going to have maybe hundreds of millions of people going out to see the movies like Marvel's been able to capture and is currently losing.
Mhm.
But like when you look at the budget for this movie, anywhere from what I'm seeing, it's like anywhere from like 225 million to 360 something $1 million of you know what it costs to put this movie together.
Mhm.
And in a lot of scenes, you see where they got their money's worth, unlike some things that Marvel has done recently. But
Nothing. I'm gonna go ahead and say this. Nothing. If you saw Godzilla -1 and you see the movies that come out, there's no excuse for you to be
mm,
spending hundreds of millions of dollars
no,
when
no,
-1 is the way that it
yeah,
does. You
Godzilla
know?
-1, I think on the high end cost like 17 million. I think most of the reporting say it was like 12
Yeah.
million dollars to make that movie.
Yeah.
Uh, and it was outstanding. I mean, it was a very good movie.
Yeah.
Um,
Fantastic movie.
yeah, and I mean, you even compare that to the Universal Godzilla movies, where they're spending again hundreds of millions of dollars. -1 was significantly a better movie. What's that face?
Warner
What's
Brothers.
happening?
It's Warner
Warner
Brothers.
Brothers. Okay,
Warner
it
Brothers.
is Warner Brothers. uh, Thank you.
Warner Brothers and Legendary.
That part might be edited. Um, no, it's like, but yeah, But yeah, those movies again, you show where they spend so much money and they make some awesome action scenes and stuff like that. But man, Godzilla minus one hits you on so many different levels, and for a shoestring budget. Even take into account the first Deadpool movie. I think that was like a $40 million movie, and it had really cool action scenes. It had a costume that
Sure.
looked awesome. It had the effects. It had the entertainment, and that movie was made a buttload of money.
Yeah.
Same with like Joker. Again, I think that was like a $30 million movie.
Mhm.
And then for the sequel, they spent a hundred and something $1 million to make the sequel and bombed catastrophically. It's like, well, there goes all your profit from the first Joker.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Um,
they broke even with both of those movies because the first movie was
yeah,
was really really good, and then the
yeah,
second I didn't even bother to watch the second movie because it looked terrible. And
yeah,
I was told that it was absolutely rotten, like just not a
yeah.
very good. It didn't need a
And
follow up. I feel like it really didn't.
I'll be honest. Very unpopular opinion. I was not a fan of the Joker. Like I didn't love it. I see why people liked it, but it was I don't know. It just wasn't my cup of tea. The guy to me never felt like a guy that could go toe to toe with Batman. But anyways, another topic for another day.
I'm
But
gonna
yeah,
laugh
but
when he's
again,
in
this
James Gunn's universe.
but yeah, this movie costs anywhere, like I said, from 225 million to 360 something million. That doesn't take into account marketing, how much they spend on marketing, and usually they spend close to what it costs to make the movie on marketing.
Mhm.
Right now, worldwide, this movie's sitting at 472 million, roughly, from what I'm saying. This on Box Office Mojo.
Mhm.
So upwards of 472 million. For them to really eke out like a big profit, I mean, this movie needs to make 600, $700 million to make a little bit of a
Mhm.
profit. I mean, for it to do really well, and it needs to because they're coming. Warner Brothers is coming after flop after flop after flop after flop. The last movie they had that made any money was Pattinson Batman,
Your favorite one.
and I think the Penguin Show probably
Mhm.
made them some money. I don't know how many people watched it, but I've heard it's really good.
Mhm.
I haven't watched it myself yet, but I mean, The Flash bombed, uh, Captain Marvel or Shazam 2 bombed,
Yeah,
Aquaman 2
Aquaman
bombed.
2. Yeah, bomb. Yeah.
I mean, and like I said, The Flash bombed catastrophically because they shot and reshot that movie like four different times. It was like the most expensive movie ever made.
Well, and
Like
then
it,
Ezra Miller couldn't keep himself out of
oh
trouble.
god,
I think he really ruined any chance for that to turn into anything more because he lost his brain, man.
oh
Hollywood
yeah,
messed him up.
and I'll
Um,
admit, like I didn't like Ezra Miller, and that's before he went banana balls. Like even in like the was the Fantastic Beasts movie he was in, I was like, this guy's like off putting in kind of like a weird French Stewart kind of way. Like he's just I don't know. But yeah, then he started choking women and throwing chairs at other women. And it was like and kidnapping people. It's like okay, this guy's off his rocker. But yeah, he
oh my
um
god, what a weirdo!
he's nuts, man. He's nuts. But yeah, I mean, so I mean, they've got a ton. Like Warner Brothers is in trouble. Like financially, they're in trouble, and they need a massive win with this Superman movie.
Mhm.
And I know James Gunn said like right now it's not playing in the international market as well as they had hoped. And James Gunn says he thinks it's because there's always kind of a more of a pro America sentiment with Superman. Superman used to say truth, justice, the American way. A lot of people were hoping that he would say that again. To me, it would have been fine if he did. I can take it or leave it though. End of the day, the character has evolved over time.
Mhm.
Superman, when he was created, I mean, it was during a time where I mean, the world was in turmoil and they needed pro American shenanigans going on. Same with like Captain America,
Mhm.
But that time is coming past. Superman is much more of a worldwide brand than he is an American brand at this point. So it's like I don't I'm not butthurt by the fact that he doesn't say truth America or truth justice in the American way. It's fine. I don't care. Same with like the trunks. I'm a take it or leave it on the trunks. It's like I liked it that they were there, but if they weren't there, not a deal breaker. Don't care.
Mhm.
But yeah, so the domestic or the international box office is it's hurting a little bit right now. So it's like if this movie doesn't eke out a pretty big profit, it could spell trouble for the uh, the universe moving forward. But kind of like what we're talking about before is you can do superhero movies with less of a budget.
Mhm.
You don't need these bloated budgets. You just don't. Like I almost feel like they could make a cool Green Arrow movie
Mhm.
and not have an insane budget. Why Marvel can't figure out Blade is astonishing to me. I was like, again, that's not a movie you need
Put
to
him in
throw
a leather
hundreds of
suit and
millions
let
of
him
dollars
chop
at.
up some vampires. It's really not that hard.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like, I think there was a clip of Feige saying, it's like, well, we don't just want to give people Mahershala Ali in a leather suit fighting vampires. I was like, no, that's what we
No,
want.
that's
That's
kind of what we
exactly
want, dude.
what
Dude,
we
that's
want,
exactly what we
dude.
want.
Yeah.
I don't know how difficult or how else we can say it. That's exactly what we want, man.
That
That's
would be like,
weird.
it would be somebody like opening a steakhouse restaurant and being like, well, we don't just want to give people delicious steak cooked correctly. Yes, that's what
Yeah,
we want.
actually, that's kind of why we came in here. But
Yeah.
let's
Say
see how long this works out.
we're pretty sure
Yeah,
they want watermelon salad.
unfortunately, Disney. I don't know if Disney knows what they're doing anymore.
They've
But
lost the plot a
they're
bit.
they're in a better situation than Warner Brothers is because
They are.
they've got more money than sense, and it proves in the product that they just don't care.
Yeah.
They'll throw anything up there, and whatever sticks sticks, and if it doesn't work, then they can just turn around and say, "Well, it's the fans' fault. It's not our fault. We did everything we were supposed to do. Oh, by the way, we've got more money than you do, so shut up."
Yeah.
But Warner Brothers, on the other hand, I mean, they really have to play it careful, and that's maybe that plays into what we were saying before a little bit, where this movie felt very careful. It was a
Hmm.
very safe Superman. Choose the villains we know. Choose a very easy thing to grab onto. Um,
And
it's
it
very low
was,
risk, so it's I don't want to say low reward, but certainly not if you decided to use some of the more popular or you use some of the more well known villains or prominent
it,
ones within Superman's universe. I mean, um, and then
I don't know.
it's still in
It
the
was
theater,
safe.
so
It
it's
was safe and
still
not
it.
safe at the same time. Just yes, with Lex Luthor, Superman versus Lex Luthor,
Mhm.
been done a lot. And
Mhm.
I personally, I'm not tired of it. I think it's great. But they did take risk of, like we talked about it before. But I felt like they could have done away with the Justice Gang,
Mhm.
and I think they could have had like maybe like more like John Stewart, Green Lantern, and Batman instead of Mister Terrific
Mhm.
coming in to help out. Something like that instead of the Justice Gang. Because like I said, Guy Gardner, he's a risky character to do. I think Nathan Fillion nailed it.
Mhm.
And with the more lighthearted tone of the movie, I think Guy Gardner was a cool fit.
Mhm.
But again, now you've got, instead of Batman being heavily involved with the creation of the Justice League and Justice Hall and stuff like that, it's Maxwell Lord, which is weird.
It's odd.
Like, and again, I'm not the most comic book savvy, but I was like, has Maxwell Lord in any iterations of the comics been the one responsible for building the Justice League? Like, it seems weird. I always thought he was more of a villain. Like, he was a villain when he created Metamorpho in the Justice League show. Like, he was kind of had bad intentions there. So it's like that's a weird direction to go. And again, not putting your strongest feet forward of, again, bringing in Batwoman. That didn't happen.
No,
Bringing
that's
in,
definitely not your strongest foot forward. They already
that movie
tried
got
that. That was
canceled.
definitely not the right answer.
They threw that in the recycling bin.
That was so bad that even the actress didn't want to do it anymore.
Yeah, that because they had the Batwoman movie that David Zaslav, the Warner Brothers CEO, just scrap. He's like, it's hanging out with Oscar the Grouch. That thing
It's
is
like
not going to see the
we're
light of
not
day.
doing that.
Uh,
Yeah.
and but like I said, that's the concern. If this isn't a slam dunk home run, like it's got to be because Zaslav has shown he's not afraid to cut losses. If this doesn't go the way it goes, I mean, you could very well see DC go up for sale. I mean, you could even see
Brought
it
to you by
split up,
Disney.
and you could even see it split up and go for sale. Like separate the movie side and the comic book side, and start selling it off piecemeal, and might not be a bad thing, honestly.
Well,
But yeah,
here's another thing to consider as well. It's only so many more years before many of these characters enter the public domain.
that is true. That is very true.
Uh, a lot of people, like you and I and others who feel like they have their own stories to tell, will have
Mm-hmm.
the opportunity to do so. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know what the play is there. When you have everybody having the freedom. I mean, look what they did with Steamboat Willie.
yeah, yep.
What James Gunn should have done is he should have waited to make Brightburn, and he should have just made evil Superman movie.
Yeah.
That's what he should
Well,
have done. Just waited,
I,
just waited.
I would like to think that he didn't know he would be given the keys to the DC kingdom before he made Brightburn.
That's true.
But yeah, um, I don't know. Like I said, it is a daunting time for the superhero film. It's like all these different genres. They have their time in the sun. Westerns came and went. The noir movies came and went. So it's like it's not beyond the pale that super movies are on their way out, at least in the massive appeal that they're in right now. So it's like I have no doubt that they'll continue. They'll keep making them, but they'll be more niche. They won't be the you know box
Won't be
office
your temple
explosions
every
that they
summer.
have been. It's not going to be like Marvel pooping out $1 billion movies 3 times a year. It's like
Mm.
that I think that ship has sailed. And I say that begrudgingly. Like I'm a fan of them. I love the superhero movies. And I hope they're able to bounce back. I hope Fantastic Four is excellent. I don't know. I have doubts, but I'm hoping it's good.
It looks like it might be okay. Like,
Yeah,
you know, this female
it's
Silver
got
Surfer
potential.
is a little odd
Yeah,
choice. I felt like, but Galactus looks
red
great.
flag.
And love him and hate him. Pedro Pascal is a decent actor.
He's pretty good.
So
Little
I
sicko,
feel
but he's
like,
a good actor.
yeah, he's pretty good at what he does. So I feel like
Tired of his
I
poo
feel like
stash.
it'll, huh?
I'm tired of his poo stash. He
Yeah,
needs to
he needed
shave
to do
that
something
thing.
about that mustache. That needs to go away.
Yeah.
But probably one of my favorite movies I've ever seen him in was the what was it called? The Massive Weight or the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent or
Massive
something
talent.
with Nicolas
Yeah,
Cage.
Nicholas
Yeah,
Cage. Yeah,
and oh
I haven't
my
seen that either.
gosh, he is so funny in that movie.
Yeah, like I say, he's a very talented actor.
Got a lot of
Um,
acting chops, is what you see though. People know him from
yeah.
Game of Thrones and other stuff, but
Oh,
um,
oh, that Game of
but
Thrones.
he's a decent actor. But it does seem like it's like he's the new Chris Pratt. Hey, do you need a leading man for your movie? We got just the guy for you. Not Chris Pratt anymore. We've moved on from that guy. Pedro Pascal. Here you
Yeah,
go. And
yeah.
So he's got 3 movies out in theaters right now, I believe.
I
So
think so.
you
Yeah.
have your
He
run of the
probably has a
board.
couple
You can
TV
have
shows on there too.
Pedro Pascal.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, well, like I say, we'll see where it goes. So I think I don't know any other thoughts on the Superman Legacy movie. I think we should probably start wrapping it up here.
Yeah, I would say to anybody out there who might be on the fence, to Justin's point, this movie, it does need to make a good bit of money if you like these characters. If you like comic book movies, this movie was made for you.
Yeah.
And the way that you show support for it is to, either engage online, via social media, but just go see the movie and make your own opinion. Think about
Yeah.
it. And um, to me, as somebody who's read a lot of these comics, I think that they did a very good job really making it a comic book movie for comic book people.
Yeah.
Especially if you really love Silver and Bronze Age comics, this hits all of those beats. This is what they should have been doing for a lot of years. Is just really stayed true to
Yeah.
the comics, and it ultimately has made for a really good movie that I think everybody can enjoy. There are some things that are a little odd about it, but that's literally going to
Yeah.
be every movie. There's seldom a movie where you go in and like everything from beginning to finish is wonderful. Those movies are masterpieces, and like I say, they're very few and far between. Not everything can be Godzilla minus one. I'm just saying it. Um, but definitely go check it out. Is what I would like to say. Finally, about it. Very good film. Very fun. Definitely worth a watch.
What would you give it a 1 out of 10 rating?
If we now, I do like the rating system, and out of 5 Supermans, I would give it 4.5 Superman. So if you have the way to edit this into four and maybe cut this guy in half, like about right here, 4.5 Supermans
You want top half or bottom half?
out of 5 Supermans.
Just to clarify, I have no way of editing. I've never edited a video in my life.
Okay.
I've made
Well,
slideshows. That's the extent of it. Um,
um, uh, okay. I wish I had something here that I could use that was very super, besides my Superman figure that I have here.
so four and a
But
half
yeah,
out of
no,
five.
if we're given a numerical value, I would get a 4.5 out of 5. Really good. There's a few mistakes here and there, but in terms of it being a comic book movie made for comic book people, it is 100% there. There's a few
Yeah,
goofy things. But that's the only thing that kind of brings it down a little bit. Is there's a few goofy things, and 4.5 out of 5 is what I would give it,
yeah. Um,
or 2.5 roses if you're going by the Rosenbaum system.
oh yeah. He is referring to the for fans of Smallville. They have a Michael Rosenbaum and Tom Welling do a podcast for Smallville called Talkville, where they go episode by episode and talk
It's really
about
fun.
how shockingly little they remember about doing it. But it's fun to get some of the behind the scenes stuff in Smallville, and at the end they have the Rosenbaum rating. Like if it was like, I think it's like 3 roses means it was awesome. 0 roses means it was right in the middle, or you could give it bombs. Bombs were like negative score. So 3 bombs was the worst. But yeah. Um, anyways,
Two
like
and a half
I think
roses.
yeah, I think for me, I agree with the sentiment. You like I went into it with fairly low expectations, to be honest.
Mhm.
Came out of it enjoying the movie. I thought it was a lot of fun. I had my issues with it. Like I said, 7 cows in the backyard. Come on. But no, I had my issues with it. There were some stuff that was goofy and acceptable in a comic book sense, kind of like Metamorpho, and then there were some things that were just too goofy, like blonde bimbo hanging around with Lex, the monkey bots typing on computers, just little things like that that kind of were just distractions.
I
Um,
liked it. I'm
I
a
mean,
dork, and I like
it
that
was
kind of thing.
it was funny, but I was like, again, it doesn't feel that Lexy. At least not with
Mm.
the Lex that they had going in that movie. Like the dude that straight up blew a guy's brains out in front of Superman to get him to talk, you know. But he has monkey bots. Like I don't know, it was weird. But yeah, I would say for me, I'd give it a probably a like a 6.5, 7 out of 10, somewhere around there.
Mhm.
I really enjoyed it. Had a lot of fun with it. We'll buy it. I'll own it. Like it's a movie that I would buy. Oh, cat's invading again.
Mm. Cat Vision.
But yeah, like I said, and I would recommend going to see it. It's one that it had enough gravitas, some really powerful scenes that I think are worth the big screen, worth the big audio, to me. But yeah, overall I enjoyed it. Had some issues, but like I said, one of the most glaring was the Jarrell tape, and I'm hoping they will fix that in the next movie or address that and do something cool with it, put a spin on it in some way. But like I said, if not, not a deal breaker, but just something on a personal level I'd like to see different.
Mhm.
But yeah,
Well, that sounds good.
yeah, yeah, I agree. I thought it was good. I enjoyed it, and I would like to see what James Gunn does next. And
I want more. Yeah, I'm looking forward to Clayface. That's I think that's next up on the slate of movies to get released. I can't wait for Swamp Thing. I think that'll be very very good, and it'll be interesting to see what they end up ultimately doing with Wonder Woman and Batman.
yeah,
Who will play those characters? Who do you think will play those characters? You have any idea? Do you have like a dream casting?
um, for Batman,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of the popular opinion is pointing to Alan Ritchson from Reacher, and he played Aquaman in Smallville and Dove in, or not Dove, Hawk in the Titans thing. Um, I think he would be fine. I
He's
think he
got the
could do better
physique
though.
for it, but
He's got the
I don't
physique,
know,
he's
man.
got the
I don't see
face,
it.
and I think he would be more of like a fine Batman over a good Bruce Wayne. Um,
Mhm. You got to have a good Bruce Wayne.
yeah, you got to have a good Bruce Wayne. I definitely like I didn't care for Pattinson as Batman. Um, that didn't do it for me. Uh,
Mhm.
he came across as way too much of a weenie, and I know it is him kind of getting started, But at the same time, he trained for how many years with um, League of Assassins before he became Batman? So it's like he would have, I don't know, less noodle arms. I would think. I don't know, but man, selfish me kind of wants to say I would like to see Jensen Ackles have a shot at it.
Jensen Ackles is Batman. I'm gonna really warp your brain. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Henry Cavill is Batman.
Henry Cavill is Batman. Man, go full circle.
I feel like Henry Cavill. You know, you've seen him playing like these kind of spy movies, so he's definitely got
Yeah.
like the SWAT kind of super spy thing going on. So he could absolutely play like like a really great Bruce Wayne. But then like he's got the face and just the physique now to play like a really good Batman. You know
I
what
could
I
see. I
mean?
honestly, I
So
could see that. Like, holy crap,
yeah.
that could be kind of cool.
That would be
Yeah.
really cool to see him come back, just not as Superman, but as Batman, against Sweaty Corn. That would be, to me, I don't know. That would just, I feel like enough people would go crazy about that where I don't know, you could definitely get the support behind that.
And I mean, at this point,
Um,
why the hell not? I mean, they're taking Jason Momoa from
dude, just,
Aquaman to Lobo. They're taking
yeah,
Robert Downey Jr. from Iron Man to not Iron Man, Doctor Doom, Iron Man. I don't
he's
know.
Iron Face now, is what he is.
Iron Face.
Yeah,
But yeah, so it's like that. I mean,
that's a big mistake,
that
by the
honestly could be
way.
kind of cool.
I always wanted John Hamm to play Doctor Doom. He would have been perfect as Doctor Doom. That's really too bad.
Let's just cast John Hamm as everything. Honestly, I think John Hamm would have been a cool Doctor Fate.
He would have been a cool Doctor Fate. He would have been a great Batman. Um, John Hamm,
John Hamm for every
just
role.
clone
And
John Hamm and let him play. Every role in every movie. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just say I want John Hamm to play Wonder Woman. That's how much I want John Hamm to play one of these comic book characters. Just let him be Wonder Woman.
don't wish
Just put
that
a
evil
wig
on
on
me.
him or
Come on.
something.
I no, no. You had me at everything else. You lost me at Wonder Woman Ham.
Wonder Woman. Ah man. All right.
Wonder Ham.
Wonder Ham,
Almost knocked my cup off the table.
which was an episode of Justice League Unlimited. If that happened.
Wonder Ham.
Wonder
That did
Ham.
happen, didn't it?
It did happen. Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Justice League
Uh,
Unlimited. Wonder
what's her
Woman got
name?
turned into a pig.
Egyptian. No, Greek god lady. Yeah. Um, I think that was the episode where Batman sang.
It is.
Uh, yeah. Uh,
Yeah, wasn't it the Enchantress or something?
Enchantress is Marvel. It was the
Marvel.
lady
That's right.
from. It was the lady from
No,
the Greek comics that turned
she
people
is.
into animals.
Uh,
I
she
forget her
is
name.
Cersei. Cersei.
Cersei. That's it. Cersei. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Um,
I do. Like I said, I am. I'm looking forward to seeing what James Gunn does next.
hmm?
I am concerned though, having because is it Clayface or Supergirl that's next?
uh, I think it's Clayface that's next.
Okay, and
I
is
don't
that going to
know.
theaters? Or is that like a TV thing? I think it's a TV thing, isn't it? I can't really
I
remember.
don't.
Um,
I don't even know. I know the Lanterns is getting a TV series that's
yeah, Lanterns is getting a
connected.
TV series.
Yeah.
Um,
Uh, and they said Batman. I guess they're doing a Brave and the Bold type situation.
that's
So I don't
something
know what
it's
happened there.
planned,
Yeah.
but
But
um,
I don't know.
yeah, but like I said, right now, with the bombs that DC has had, I don't think anything is guaranteed at this point. Um,
Hmm.
Going to Clayface, I mean, how have the Sony Spider-Man movies without Spider-Man been doing?
Hmm. Well, those are just not good.
Yeah, yeah, they're not doing well. So it's like
The only
doing
ones that have been received kind of well have been Venom.
kind of
Um,
well.
and
Yeah,
that's like Spider-Man adjacent.
yeah, yeah. So
Yeah, the
Spider-Man
other ones
movies
don't
without
feel like they're
Spider-Man had
connected
been
at
doing
all.
well. I know the
Yeah.
Penguin did well, but you've got a lot of Batman things without Batman. You had the Batwoman TV show uh, that was pretty bad. You had
It had Batman in
Arkham
it.
Knights. You had Arkham Knights, the
Hmm.
game that I don't think did very well. Um, again, Batman game without
Suicide
Batman
Squad
in it.
killed the Justice League. That did
That
famously well.
I mean, it at least still had Batman in it though. Oh God, poor Kevin Conroy. Um, but yeah,
Poor guy.
I feel like there's been some other things that have been like Gotham, that show for
Gotham.
example. Again, Batman show without Batman in it. You had Bruce Wayne, little kid Bruce Wayne. But I don't think that was a runaway success either. I got 5 seasons, I think. Um,
Hmm.
so I don't know. And then after that, you got Supergirl. I mean, do you really think Supergirl is going to be a massive box office draw? I mean, I kind of don't.
Maybe.
I
I
mean,
don't know.
I'm hopeful. I'll go see it, but uh, I'm kind of hate to be a Debbie Downer, but I'm kind of pressing X to doubt that Supergirl is going to be a massive draw. And like I said, where Superman is sitting right now, it's about to be competing with Fantastic Four. Um, so you're gonna have some pullback on the Superman movie And
Hmm.
like I said, it needs to make a at least a few $100 million more for it to be a big win, because theaters got to take their cut and they got to pay off that marketing too before they even get to their 220 to $230 million budget that they got to pay off.
I think the place that
So
this movie will succeed ultimately is for people who don't want to go to the movie theater and just want to catch it on streaming. You
mm-hmm.
know, a lot of movies will see like a second bump in their ultimate price once they. You know, it's kind of like back in the day when movies went to, like, hey, good example is Happy Gilmore.
Mm-hmm.
Very funny movie. We all it's
Yeah,
it's revered as one of the funniest movies that's ever come out. But when it came out in theaters, it didn't do that well. It was only after it came out on VHS that people like kids were renting it on the weekend, or a bunch of buddies would get together and like, hey, let's check this thing out, and then it
yeah,
became a really popular movie. So I kind of feel like we'll kind of see the same thing. A lot of people just aren't going to the movie theater the way that they used to.
yeah.
Is something that we all need to keep in mind.
Yes, it
And
is
I really
very
feel
true.
like once it gets onto a streaming service or multiple streaming services, people are able to just on demand. Like that's one thing I planned on doing because I would like to own it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But just being able to watch it from the comfort of your home and not have some dingus, in front of you just playing on their phone. And, why do phones have that bright light thing that happens? It's like the stuttering light thing. Why does that happen?
I
If
don't
you're
know.
somebody who does that, please stop. There's nothing that's in a movie theater that you need, that's so desperate that you need that. If you need to be doing all that, go do something else. Please don't sit inside my
Yeah,
movie theater. Please
yeah,
leave. But yeah, I feel like this movie will probably see its second get a second life on streaming, and I feel like it'll find a lot of success there, and I think ultimately that'll help along with trying to get the budget where it needs to be, or the overall earnings for the movie.
yeah. And I think that can give it a bump. Also, I mentioned it before, but the merchandising. Um,
Merchandising, yes.
they could see some
I got to have a figure. I'm
something
going to
from.
get one. That's just
Yeah.
something that's going to happen. Yeah,
Yep.
you know,
Yep.
when the Lego
Like I
set
said,
comes out, I'm getting it.
yeah, yep. And I think crypto could, you know it'll be the little white money baby. Um, but um, so yeah, I mean
Don't
that's
say
something
that.
that could help it.
That's just there's something about that saying just now.
Yeah, it didn't feel right. My brain to mouth filter failed
Something not
failed me.
quite right about it. I don't like it.
Yep. Yeah. I'm gonna let that simmer
Little
for a
white
minute.
money baby. Uh,
Let it simmer.
yep.
Let it simmer. Okay. And um, but yeah, it's got potential. But again, I don't. I'm hopeful that Clayface will be a big draw. But again, you got to get Batman in there. You have to. You just have to get him in there soon. Uh,
I
and like I
think they
said,
will. Like,
I
at
don't
this
think
point, there's
Supergirl is
no
going to be a big
way.
draw.
There's zero chance that Clayface has Batman in it. There's zero chance. In fact, it might
Really,
be the way that they introduce Batman into the universe as a whole is through this
it could
Clayface
be.
movie.
And again,
Yeah.
that's kind of a weird approach. It's kind of a strange approach. Um,
Time will
and
tell if it
like
works or
I know they're planning on doing the Brave and the Bold, which
not.
um, would be great. And if they can get into like really tap into the friendship that Batman and Superman have, that would be awesome. What was that run that they did like with Superman Batman? It wasn't Brave and Bold. It was oh crap, I can't think of it. What they
There
titled it,
was a
but
Brave
yeah,
and Bold cartoon. That's not what you're thinking of.
no, no. It was oh my god, I can't think of what it is. Um,
Uh,
but yeah, they
Old
had
man
like
brain.
a specific. Oh yeah, it's bad. Uh, I can say things like "little white money baby," but I can't collect my thoughts. um,
Oh my god.
No, they something. I want to say it was like something heroes, but yeah, it was like Batman and Superman team up. Um, that was really cool. And I feel like that's what kind of what I hope that's what they're gearing towards. But like I say, you got to get Batman in there soon. And I think if Supergirl is going to be successful, I I'm thinking it'll be more because of if Jason Momoa Lobo is the villain in the Supergirl
Mhm.
movie. Like that
Mhm.
might put some butts in some seats, but again, I don't know
Yeah.
if it's gonna. I mean, you ask the average person, hey, who's Lobo? Most people aren't gonna know. So, and same with Guardians of the Galaxy, and look what James Gunn did with them. So it's possible that it could make some money, but if they spend 200 and something $1 million on a Supergirl movie plus marketing, I don't see them that being a massive box office success. I hope I'm wrong, but it's a bold strategy, Cotton. Let's see how it works for him. Yeah, but like I said, there's a lot riding on this Superman movie, and it's got to have legs. It has absolutely got to have legs.
Mhm. Yeah, it absolutely has to. I think that, but I think that it's in a good place, even if it seems seemingly a shaky start. You know,
Yeah,
I think it's a pretty good start. For me, I like where we're at. I like what direction we're headed in. Um, I like. There's a lot to like about it, and really
yeah,
would be a
I
shame
agree.
to just be like, okay, well, listen, we can't get this to work out. All of these heroes are entering the public domain anyway, so let's just that's it. Call it good. Just let
Yeah,
people do what they want. That'd be a shame if that happened. But
yeah, for sure.
I'm interested to see more, and I think that DC realizes that people do actually want to see more.
Yeah,
Um, and
yeah,
so we'll see what happens. But you're right; they definitely need to get Batman. They need to get at least the big three established. You
yeah,
know, that absolutely needs to happen. So
yep.
they need to
You got to get Batman, Superman,
they
Wonder
don't have
Woman.
time on their side like Marvel did all those years ago, where it's
Yeah,
like, oh, these movies are fitting together like puzzle pieces. Well, this is an interesting thing.
yeah.
No, they don't really have that time anymore, so they need to kind
Mm-mm.
of up to and get to it.
Yeah, yeah. Like I said, and I know that James Gunn was talking about doing the Authority too, which again, like I'm not the most comic book savvy, but I'm pretty tuned in to a lot of this stuff. And I was like, who the hell is the Authority? Like, I don't even know. And everybody's like, well, it's the same with Guardians. I was like, I knew who the Guardians were before James Gunn, at least. Like, I knew that much, and I liked the Guardians of the Galaxy. But like the Authority, I was like, I don't know who these people are. It seems like again a bold move if you're gonna put the Authority in before Batman, before Wonder Woman, before Green Lantern. It's like it seems like a stretch, but I don't know. Like we'll see if he can pull it off. I'm still hopeful, but like I
It
say,
seems like he can. Seems like he's got the head for it. Like he's got absolutely got the right idea. It's just
yeah,
now you're fighting
he
against time. How long are people going to continue to be interested in superhero movies?
yeah,
You know,
yeah. And
uh,
James Gunn needs to dial back his ego a bit too. As I think James Gunn loves him some James Gunn. And and he's talented. He's very talented. I think. And I think he is a guy who likes comic books. Has been a fan for a long time of comic books, which is I think good. You need that, and I think even Marvel, because it used to be their thing. Like they told all their actors not to read the source material, not to read the comic books, because they didn't want that to influence the direction of the movie
dumb.
or the shows. And I was like, oh, the comic books. You mean the thing that your little empire is built on? I was like, maybe you should kind of stick with those a little bit. It's kind of like, It's kind of like
it's
taking like rings of power and being like, "Hey, you know all those wonderful things that that Tolkien did? Let's not do that. Let's not take
yeah,
the
it's
book
like
that
it's
the
got
only
the
book more
Airbender
popular
syndrome.
than the Lord of the Rings trilogy is the Bible. It's like let's not do what he wanted to do. We're smarter than him. Let's do our own thing.
It's the
Yeah, it's
last
like yeah,
Airbender syndrome where
yeah,
you have M Night Shyamalan, who I mean, he has literally the visual source material to go off of, and he decides to make a complete and utter piece of shit bomb.
bastardization. Yeah,
You know, like,
it's like
it's
oh,
like it's
you're gonna do
literally everything is spelled out for you right here from beginning
yeah,
to end, and still you come out with a piece of shit. How? How? It's
yeah,
like you're
yeah.
trying to. It's like you're trying to ruin it.
Kind of
It's
reminds
like
me
you're
of that
trying.
Family Guy. There's a Family Guy episode where it's like one of the little flashback cutaway, just little comic cutscenes where it was like a guy giving a tattoo to this big biker dude. He's like, "Okay, doing a tattoo. What would you like? I want a skull. How about Kermit the Frog? No, no, I want to do a skull." It's like, I'm gonna do Kermit the Frog. Like that's kind of what it feels like. It's like Shyamalan, you had everything laid out, and it's like, oh, what are you gonna have Aang and the gang get up to? Well, I'm gonna call him Ong. Well, his name is Aang. Yeah, we're gonna call him Ong. That'll be fun. People will like it. And I was like, no, it didn't work. It doesn't work. I don't know.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So, anyways,
Amen, Sean. How do they continue to still let him make movies? That's what I don't get.
mm, I don't know. I think there's a different class. There's the critic class, and then there's like the everyday people. And I think
Mhm.
critics are vastly losing their credibility.
Well,
Um,
I don't think they had anybody who votes for Mulholland Drive being a really good movie immediately loses my respect.
yeah,
Which is I don't mean to turn this into a David Lynch thing, but he's not my favorite director. I'm sorry if you love him. I don't. I'm allowed my opinion. Get over it. But anybody who
I think I've seen
claims
that.
to
And I don't
understand
remember.
that movie, well, you probably not because that movie is just a fever dream. There's nothing. There's no
Yeah,
real anything going on with it that's supposed to make sense. And that's the nature of David Lynch movies. It's is that they're supposed to feel disjointed and feel like just art in motion. And I mean, I understand what he's going for, but to me, I feel like those movies would function better as a series of paintings rather than being like an hour and a half to 2 hours worth of your time wasted. Like let me let me sit down and decide what the imagery means to me, through a painting. Let me spend that much time doing it. I don't need you to, have some weird looking lady stomping on fetuses or small people wandering underneath a
yeah.
door jam or something. Like,
Just
it's I don't know.
just make some
It's
Salvador
weird.
Dali style paintings and call it a day.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Just like, like, oh, and that guy's legendary. You're just like, wow, that's really cool. But I don't know. I don't get those movies. It's really weird.
Yeah, I don't.
David
Yeah,
Lynch.
I feel like I've seen Mulholland Drive and I can't remember anything about it. Yeah,
But
I've not
critics
watched a
love
lot
that
of David
movie.
Lynch.
That is their favorite movie. If
I
you
feel like I
don't
would
get
just
it, if
watch
you
it
don't
just for shits
understand it,
and
you don't
giggles.
understand art, and you're just a stupid person.
Yeah. Well, I don't need to dislike Mulholland Drive to prove that I'm a stupid person. You just watch this episode and you'll figure that out on your own.
Watch the old man
uh,
brain happen before you. Um, No, I don't know. Critics, I definitely think that they're bought and paid for by, certain studios to, you know,
World's Finest.
get
That's what I was thinking of.
world's finest.
Batman, Superman, World's Finest. That's what I was thinking of.
There's the old man brain we were
Sorry.
talking about. But critics,
Google with the
they're bought and
assist.
paid for by Disney, Warner Brothers, Universal, all these big,
Yeah.
big guys that, like, hey, I mean, people listen to you, right? Well, why don't you just say something good about our movie? And
Yeah.
there's that's part of it, and then there's some people who, and I especially think this is true in the case of Mulholland Drive. That movie makes no sense. There's no plot to it. There's no understanding it. It's like they beat Naomi Watts over the head with a metal pipe and said, "All right, let's just film what happens." Don't tell her what's going on. Just film it. And it doesn't make any sense. But it's like all of these people are too afraid to say that. They're too afraid
Yeah.
to be like, I don't really get it. So like, oh well, it must be brilliant then. Obviously, it goes over my head, and I just bravo. It's
Yep.
those people, right? Too afraid to admit that this is kind of dumb. So,
Yeah.
well, I don't want everybody else to think I'm an idiot, so I'm going to say it's amazing. So,
Yeah. It's almost like kind of like
uh,
the emperor has no clothes syndrome kind of thing.
yes,
Yeah.
exactly.
Uh, yep. And you're the one guy that's like, hey, that dude's naked.
Yeah, that's me, and now I'm hated.
Well, no, and like I said, I mean, this is like I said, this is something I've been wanting to do for a while. I'm glad we're
Mhm.
doing it, and that's one of the thing is they call the access media because they get access to the stuff before everybody else does, and in order to continue getting the access that they get, they kind of got to blow some smoke up some orifices.
I got
You
to
know,
blow something.
yeah, yep. Harvey Weinstein, maybe I don't know.
Mhm.
But yeah, we're not going to get that access anytime soon. um, so I'm just
You
going to be
can
honest.
count on I can assure you, everyone watching out there, you will get a genuine response out of
Yes,
us. We're not
yeah.
bought and paid for by Warner Brothers, but if you want to pay us, you're more than welcome to. And then I will still
Have
say
your
that it's bullshit because I still have my integrity to hold on to.
yes, yeah. So yeah,
Damn it.
it's the way I see it is like integrity is kind of like a bank almost.
Mhm.
Uh, you can only loan out so much integrity before you don't have any left, and then you're worthless.
Mhm.
So yeah, so it's one of those things like like I said, I would like to continue to do this. And by the way, yeah, everybody watching, if this is something you'd like to see more of, definitely let us know. Reach out if you think we're stupid. You can keep that to yourself. We'll do it anyway. But no, but in all seriousness, yeah, let us know what you think.
Like,
And
comment, and subscribe.
like, comment, do all the things. Click
You know,
the buttons
yeah,
and,
what
and stuff.
everybody that's out there, I'm speaking to you directly. What did you think of this movie? Was this what you wanted? Was it too comic booky for you? Do you feel like you don't care anymore? I mean, certainly your feelings are all completely valid, and it's important to just remember that this is the opinion of two people, who've
Yeah,
just I mean, we're people on the internet.
yeah,
And you're our favorite people, so we definitely need to know about what you think. But you
exactly.
tell us what you think. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Do you want to see more of this? Do you want to hear me rant about David Lynch? Because I hate David Lynch. And do you want us to just talk about movies, shows? Like, what do you want, man? Let us know, and Justin and I will do the
Yeah,
best
this
we.
is
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, this is something we're just kind of trying on for size. See how it feels. See what y'all think.
Mhm.
But yeah, it's we've talked about doing this with movies, video games. You
Mhm.
know, it's something that we're just like I said, we're just trying it out. Yeah, definitely let us know what you think. And like you said, let us know what you think in the comments about the Superman movie.
Mhm.
Something if you like, you hate, you want more of it. What do you feel about the direction for DC going forward? Is do you think the DCEU is in good hands with James Gunn, or are they at risk of being sold in the next Warner Brothers garage sale? like like to say, I think at this point it could go either direction. And I hope
It could go. It could go where?
it, it could be sold in the next garage sale at Warner Brothers. Like DC could just be sold off.
Well,
And like I
Disney
said,
might
that
decide they're interested in it and decide, you know what, we're let's unify everything. That would be
do the
weird.
old WCW WWF thing, just slam them together into one big
Blend them
happy
together. And,
mush.
yeah,
Superman versus Thor would be fun fight to see.
yeah. Well, I'm sure people want to see Superman versus the Hulk. Um, that would be
Nah.
something that I feel a lot of people would go crazy about. But
Yeah,
I
that'd
don't
be
know.
cool. That'd be kind of cool.
Hmm.
But yeah, but that's gonna do it for us. Oliver, one more time, where would you like people to find you?
I'm at Super Ollie World. I do art on there. I do paintings. I do digital art, and other nonsensical things. So if you like that kind of thing, and would like, if you like Gazora, by the way, I'm your guy. But yeah, that's where you can find me. Super Ollie World. That's the handle. Look me up on Instagram and let me know what you'd like to see, and maybe I'll draw it, but maybe I'll just probably I'll just ignore you. That's something I'm pretty good at.
Yep, and I am Chump Norris, or Justin to everybody as well. But yeah, you can
Yeah,
find me on YouTube at Chump Norris. You can also find me on Twitch for gaming streams and other shenanigans at Chump Norris 23 at Twitch. Yeah, we'll have everything linked. But yeah, once again, let us know your thoughts. Like, share, subscribe, give foot rubs to that guy, and let us know how many Supermans you would rate the movie. The half Supermans might get a little weird.
yeah, maybe don't do that.
But yeah, uh, but yeah, we will see you in the next one. Take care.
See you guys. Bye.